Which way do we go is the question to ask. There are so many choices that it's hard not to look past. What is real and what is fake, and the risk we have to take. Will we know what is throwing off our balance? We're trying to find ourselves without the defining words. We can no longer hold on to what only makes us hurt. We cannot sink into the dark. The vertigo is getting sharp. There's something greater than ourselves that we must reach for.
Hill right now, it is just too dangerous.
Hello everyone and welcome to the official start of week 3 of PUBG Online. My name is Ronnie Mack. Today I'm all alone on the desk. However, we'll be joined on the cast by the name is Toby once we get in game. Obviously it's Monday and that means it is time for the EU Showdown series where our top 16 teams after split number 1 will compete for their share of $20,000. This is week number 3, so games 9 through 12 will be played today, and after that, only 8 games left. We are dead center in our split 2. You can see the leaderboards right here. Oh, I actually did the right side. You can see the leaderboards right here currently, all the standings where everyone is. Crimson Esports, one of the only teams with 2 wins, holding down one of the top spots right now in first place overall. Avangar, your current kill leader, in second place. Obviously below me you can see all the other details here. We have FaZe, Liquid, and Crimson each with 1 player on top of the kill leaders when it comes individually. We also have the teams there and the wins all the way to the right side. So without further ado, I apologize for not having someone else here with me, but fret not, we will still play the games today. We still have 4 of our EU Showdown Series games to be played. But let's hop into game right now. The name is Toby is here to join me. Toby, how are you on this fine day?
I am doing amazing. Thank you. I just got my jet lag reset and all. So, yeah, back and ready to rock for some EU Showdown with the first play coming in here as well.
Yeah, some long flights that you had. If I'm not mistaken, this past
Yeah,
coming all the way
let's not go. Let's not go into details. But just yeah, I got some miles on my whatever you call it, like that miles thing, bonus miles
the
thing.
miles thing, yeah, of course. But the plane did come in. It came from the east. It's heading to the west, staying pretty south actually. So not so great for our teams up in the north, but we see FaZe, as always, Milta Power, Vitality, heading down to Milta. Looks like Liquid and Squad up towards Yasnaya, but a lot of players jumping early.
Yeah, this is actually kind of exciting to see because I was gonna point out like how many East Coast teams, or at least just east of Rostock teams, there are in this group, and one of them that I know for a fact, if they don't go Novo, they always go military. That's Alliance, and right now I'm seeing them flying north. So maybe a combination of the plane going as far south as it did, and the fact that they know that there are a lot of East Coast teams. Like, how will they be able to get away from the military base if the zone goes north? They decide to go north. That's, I believe, one of the first games I've ever seen them actually go north.
Well,
so that's kind of interesting.
It's pretty nice to see because we do have, like, obviously Showdown Series is different from a lot of other leagues and where it's always the same lobby, right? For the 5 weeks that we're in here, it's the same 16 teams. You can kind of get used to where others are dropping time and time again. And it's turned into one of those things that a lot of these teams, instead of dropping the same spot every single time, regardless of the plane path, it's kind of shifted a little bit and they're kind of adjusting, like, all right, right, plane, it's very close to where we drop. We're worried about a lot of teams being here. We're going to back off. We're going to fly far to the north. Or if the plane's just awful and they can't get to where they are, they adjust and switch somewhere else. So we've seen that a lot the past couple weeks.
Yeah, that is kind of interesting. I mean, because one thing is that, of course, it's nice to always be able to go to the same places over and over again. But also, you don't, to me at least, you don't want to be the team that, like, if a circle shifts in a specific place, like, for example, now, everyone knows, okay, face it, drop middle to power, did a split down there. We know exactly, or we have an idea exactly of how they're going to be coming to the circle. You want to be able to at least have some sort of we expect them to do this, but can we really be sure? I mean, and that's especially with so many lobbies in a row being the same teams competing over again. You just gotta. I don't even know what the word for that is, but gotta mix things up.
Change
Yeah,
pace,
exactly.
something
Yeah,
along those
exactly.
lines. Yeah.
You cannot be predictable all the way through.
Yeah, exactly. So the circle did pop up. It is pretty favorable to the teams up in the north. Here we are, team number 6. This is House of Nobles. They're actually holding down some of Yasnaya. On top of them, however, is Team Liquid, the only other team besides Crimson with 2 wins thus far in only 8 games played. So pretty impressive on that side.
Yeah, Liquid is they're on a really good roll lately. They've been playing extremely well over the last couple of weeks. And Liquid, they normally do like the 3-1 split where you have 3, depending on the circle, of course, but where you have like 3 guys committed to Yasnaya, and then you have 1 guy looting the sort of outskirts compounds. You have we see Scoom. He's looting the backflip hill down there on the south side. Actually surprised to see that you have 1 guy all by himself. Mopsy as well taking some fire from Martin, but should be able to get away with the scare.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. If we're looking around here, you see team number 6. I mentioned one of them was actually in Yasnaya, but then when we opened up and saw the rest of the map, you see Mobsy here. You see 2 other players up to the northeast. They're very split up, and 1 inside the city, which is kind of strange. I don't think that's a normal split that we see. Normally trash looting, small compounds, you maintain those, no problem. But one of them dropping into Yasnaya, kind of strange. Keep an eye on House of Nobles and see how that one plays out.
Yeah, and they are kind of, to me, Nobles is sort of not a joker team, but they tend to drop in different places. And I think what they've been doing right now, I would call it safe, but the fact that you have Flix all by himself at the moment kind of surrounded, because obviously the guys from Liquid know that he's in there, but take for a fact none of the guys actually flew that far. They all had to land short and run into the city. So I just think he was in a situation where, okay, the guys are coming to me in vehicles now. If I don't get into like the urban area, they'll just run me over. Like there's no way in hell the other guys are going to be able to get to me. So he went there for vehicles, didn't get the one, was forced inside the city, and now we just can't really get away. And he's just getting pinched more and more. Samty is he coming around the corner here.
Yeah, it seems as though Liquid kind of, maybe aware, kind of moving in. I mean, Samty doesn't even have a gun out. He's actually running in just looting, so maybe not 100% sure of the location of Flix. This could be pretty damning for Liquid in the future. It could come to bite them. You have to be careful here as they move through. And it's kind of one of those things, you become so comfortable, as you move around, you're looting the same spot every single game. And you're like, all right, we're fine. Nobody's going to push us. Nobody's going to push us. And then all of a sudden, someone like Flix finds their way in, as we see Samty jumping outside, teasing a few shots to the north, but decides not to.
I mean, that's kind of the thing, and the main issue right now is one thing is that Liquid, they're so used to having the entirety of his Nige himself. Another thing is Samty, he's kind of, I mean, even though they're all in the same city, you got to take in the fact that it's a pretty damn big city jump away now, just kind of strolling through the compound at which the guys from House of Nobles are. I'm not sure how exactly he was able to get through there, but it looks like he was taken down there in the end by Sunbird. Headshot to the back of the head, and
Yeah, Botsman grabbing that first kill onto Jambawe of Crimson. He's the first one eliminated, and he will gently roll down the hill.
Yeah, just casually.
Very slowly.
Admitting his defeat, just saying I might as well just die with dignity and roll down the hill. Yeah, but
we will see a lot of these teams rotating in now from the south, and it's kind of interesting. Keep an eye on a lot of the squads here. Actually, Ibiza and James pushing up on Korin Pasca, who's holding down these yellow buildings. He moved in a little early. He has the M4, and James and Ibiza are just kind of crouch walking up.
Yeah, and I was gonna call out that that finally we get some help of Flix, but that was just the team colors 10 and 6 being so close to each other, both being red. But actually, this is one of the guys from Great People Only, all by himself. Now, obviously, the guys from Liquid know exactly where he is when you see the way that both James and Ibiza are both kind of just sneaky peekingly making their way up over the ridge here. And how is he gonna be able to do this 1v3 now? Not sure exactly what his plan is, because there's no way he's getting out of this. At least not without a fight.
One more player coming in from the north. Look at how slow they're moving. Just slow walk, take your time. James about to peek the window. He goes for it. He does. The shots come out from Karan, but no. He's taken down by James, who ran right for the back window. A great angle and an opening kill for Liquid to start this one off.
Yeah, really, really great execution on that one. Kind of baited. You never know if those things are on purpose or not. But baited him to shift the focus as you had Ibiza run through, like run by the window real quick, and then you just had James come around the corner with the perfect angle there. Really good performance as his part. We do have Havu. We know they like to drop him north. They had the plane for it, but they've gotta make their way north. I mean, the zone is gonna be pushing in. It's pushing slow, obviously, with it being the first zone and all. But they're gonna be kind of forced to be the first movers in this circle. Fortunately for them, there are a ton of entry points to this zone, so it's hard for people to gatekeep. Of course, you can run into a gatekeep situation where people sit on the edge of the zone and take you out, but should be rather easy to get into this one. Only issue being that in the northern area of the map, it's a lot of fields and not that many. I mean, there are a ton of compounds, but very few of them are very good. So teams will kind of go for the same compounds, which means that, well, you most likely end up in fights if you don't get up there early, and they decided to move late, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams moving around, especially southeast of Severny up there, like kind of center of the zone. Very open. It's kind of tough, especially on rotations. A lot of teams will be taking shots. So it'll be interesting to see how Havu moves into the zone. I've praised them many times on their rotation. A lot of the teams on the west, if the zone goes north like this, they'll go all the way north first and then east in, and things like that will happen. But it looks like Yasnaya is getting a little sketchy as two players from Great People Only have now joined. So we have two from Liquid in Yasnaya, Flix from House of Nobles, and then Kajudi and Sampula of Great People Only, all right next to each other.
Yeah, I think that Flix is gonna be, at least after this game, just gonna be thinking, why did I not leave the city early on? Because he's just gonna, like, the more time is spent here, I mean, of course, if the zone goes away, then it's fortunate for him because people will be moving out of there. But for the time being right now, you see he's lost health also, so he's been in a skirmish, probably with Samty, also down to a little low HP there. Or lower HP, but yeah, he needs a zone that shifts away from Yasnaya in order to get away from here, because I mean he can sit here for the time being, but it's only going to be a matter of time before more than one guy pushes him. The M16 is a lovely weapon up close with that burst action, like high bullet speed, fire rate. I mean, but yeah, he doesn't want to force any fights in here because there's no help from him. Like he's not going to be able to get any help if things go bad.
Yeah, absolutely. So we see Kajudi here. He's got the DP-28 with Sampula right on top of one another. Flix still has not been able to move out of this apartment. He's stuck dead center of the three on the western side of this 5-stack. And they know someone's around. They've heard the movement. So Flix is just going to have to hold here until something happens.
And it's kind of unfortunate for him, really, because I mean they probably know that Flix was in the area, but I think Samty might have been the one to draw the attention for them in the first place, because Flix was just hiding and they're doing absolutely nothing. And now the fight has kind of been drawn to them, and because of this, things have gone sideways. Samty, though, just as we talk to him, gets a knock onto Mr. Andy Power himself. So Method looking to be down one guy early on in this one as well. And this is the thing, we saw the map just before. Everything northwest of Yasnaya, talked about that, like the compound southeast of Severny, they're all taken already. First zone is only halfway there, and everything is taken. Fike on the run now, trying to get inside the zone. He will be able to get away with the scare, at least for the time being, as Ibiza takes out Pyro.
For Method early, losing Andy. More shots are coming out. Fake loses a tire and spins out. He's going to have to try and get picked up here by Molman as he's running over in that direction, trying to get behind the tree. Ibiza putting dangerous mini shots in that direction. This one's getting very, very hairy for Method here as they run not much cover.
And I'm not really sure what, like, they lost Andy in an early enough stage that there was no way they would be able to come to his rescue, and yet they decide to drive up in that direction despite knowing that the entirety of Team Liquid is up there. So now they just lost one more guy. I believe it's Fike, who got knocked over there in the corner, and looks like Mullen, oh no, actually just survives that. But yeah, Fike is knocked. Chris will force to get the rest going, and there's no way that Mullen can get knocked now. If he gets knocked before they get the rest up onto Fike, then it's gonna look really, really, really bad for these guys. And they're just taking fights out in a rather open spot, because this is a place, if next zone shifts north, that fights could be coming once again.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the hot areas for moving, whether this zone goes north or south. The shot's coming out, looking for another knock, and Sandy gets one onto Chris, looking for Fake as well. He may be able to get two, and he does. Big shots for Liquid, a lot of aggression here, pushing this fight onto Method. Moment returning some shots onto Santy, but he will prone. He has the Deflate, no problem there. Jeans now pushing from the other side, and Molman goes out to the grenade, and that is it. Method, the first team eliminated in game number 1.
And that's just textbook play by Samty. I mean, that smoke helped Chris get the res up, but it also sort of limited him to not be able to see what was going on the other side of the road. Sam used that to his advantage, got around the corner there in a good flank, and as soon as the smoke was gone, then he just had a clear shot on 2 guys, and well, yeah, that's it. Liquid, 4 kills to their name, and method out of this one.
Absolutely. Here we see a little crate, M24 8X, the 7.62 to boot, and the level 3 backpack. Kind of unfortunate to get the level 3 backpack. You need that level 3 helm for the full sniper package there to take the shots.
That is true. You cannot really be upset about a level 3 backpack, I guess, but of course, level 3 vest or helmet, way more needed. Unless, of course, if you're one of those guys that like to run around with 500 plus bullets, then I guess level 3 backpacks are all 35 bandages or whatever.
Oh,
New zone though has been popped. It's gonna shift even further north. I'm looking for FaZe to go up and try and get the compound northeast of the gas station. Gas station should be breached momentarily as well. You see Diamond Dogs, they're pretty much going straight for it right now. At least it looks like it. But
Yeah,
we're coming into the but teams won't have shifted that far north early. Teams know that because you don't want to commit to a too northern compound because then you're just forced to push back down. That's gonna give you trouble. But yeah, this is interesting.
Yeah, this is a really tough push. A lot of brutal rotations here coming out of some of these squads. 15 teams, still 56 alive. We've only lost 8 so far. Here are Gen side. They're holding down. They're in zone. They, got to be feeling pretty good. They have a nice little sight line down onto Alliance, but it's all the rotations in the east and the west that are going to be so brutal because anytime you're trying to drive in, all the teams in the south that are in the new zone, they're already safe. They can stay. They can take the shots onto all the passing vehicles, and a lot of dangerous transitions are coming.
Exactly, and there's no reason not to take those shots. I mean, unless, of course, if you're the sole remainer on your team and all you're doing is trying to sneak around, play for placement, always take shots at moving vehicles. I mean, there's no counterplay to it. The guy in the car, what he can do is stop his car, but of course, depending on your aim, you should be able to get him out or get him down. There's no way he can shoot back at you, and if he dies in the vehicle, then he doesn't get knocked. Like if the vehicle explodes, then he gets instantly killed. So it's the best play you can do. Always shoot at vehicles when they come by.
Yeah, absolutely. We see Botsman here looking for some shots. Martin was passing by for Tindergold. He's going to move up. And actually, Team 16 there holding down that little compound dead center. That's Team Symphony right there. You see Pony Rider is actually in those buildings right there with Glorious. It's a good spot to be, but it's a little sketchy when you have a team right in the warehouse to the southwest, and that's where Tinderguild is.
Yeah, that is pretty scary. Normally, you actually do, like, if you get up here early enough to get that compound, you're normally up here early enough to get the other one. Well, normally do a split where you have 2 guys up where you see Pony Rider and the guys, and then the Tindergold, you'd have Neelos and Due to Uncut over in that barn, so you have the split going there. Instead, they decide to take the split all the way up to gas station, which is, I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense because they're kind of far apart, but if the zone shifts in either direction, they know that we have one compound in the upcoming zone where we're safe. So if they can just get there fast enough before all the other rotations come in, then at least for the time being, they got 2 compounds now and probably have 1 secured for the next zone as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So Team 16, Team 17 holding down a pretty good spot up here, but only 2 of them. See, it's an interesting split. I like the split because you're holding down 2 locations. But at the same time, the 2 players on the south, they can get pushed, and there's not much the duo up in the north can do to help them.
Yeah, a good thing for them, though, is that the entire area around this compound is just miles and miles of open space. I mean, there's pretty much no cover. The only place you can really push from is if you get a really good angle from the barns area and you push over there. Look at that, 15 times and a kill. What a nifty crate for Flix if he had seen it, but nope, he's gonna pass.
Hey,
on.
Flix is still alive, man. Props to him.
That is, yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying. You need to get a zone that shifts north of PS9 so that you can get out safely. And fortunately for him, that's exactly what happened.
Feels pretty good. Team number 1 there, that's Diamond Dogs holding down the little shacks over there on the western side of this safe zone. Tomo kind of driving around trying to gain some information. Teams moving further into the zone. Shots coming out from Nellos, though. None connect, but the information has been gathered, so he can head back to his team and let them know, all right, occupied right now. We shouldn't go that way.
Yeah, exactly. And this benefits both teams. I mean, one thing is that, of course, you could just land all the shots in a row and boom, 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 get all the kills going. But he got everything he needed in that situation. He got them away. And you were saying that yourself before. There are only 2 guys down there. And the fact of the matter is they don't want people pushing them. At least not before the new zone comes up. And actually, they just lost one guy. Dude just got knocked by, I think it was Gemty with the AWM. And I mean, Gemty is a hell of a player. And when you put the best sniper in the game on his hands, then, yep, don't wanna do that. AWM suppressed. that is a beast of a weapon in the
Yeah,
hands
you
of
gotta
a
feel
player.
good having the suppressed AWM in Jempty's hand if you're faced, and they're holding down one of the most powerful positions in the zone. They have the compound. It's pretty much dead center up to the north of the zone. Water on one side. They don't have to worry about defending that. They have really good sight lines everywhere. Feeling really good with gear as well. So FaZe, you got to feel, oh, maybe not as this new circle pops. They're going to have to move to the south.
Yeah, they can stay here still. It's just still, I mean, it's in the corner of the zone, so odds are that with the zone coming after this one, they'll probably be forced to move, but at least for the time being, I mean, there's nowhere with a better position that they can transition from right now. They know that all the southern compounds are taken already, so there's no reason for them to go anywhere. Just sit up here and hope that next circle won't force them to go that far, and make sure that people aren't in the area around you. Just scared away Monkey there from Vitality, and that's exactly what they should be doing. Just keep people at a distance, and yeah, make sure that that they can take the fight to people instead of getting pinched down there.
Yeah, absolutely. So FaZe and Vitality, a bit of an EU rivalry as two of the top teams in EU. And it's so funny, they both dropped Milta and Milta Power. And if you watch, if you're a consistent viewer of the EU Showdown series and just EU games alike in PUBG, they rotate so similar so often that they constantly end up fighting one another in games because they always both try and move around to the north if the zone's in the north, or they take the same rotation very, very frequently.
And that's what I like to see. I mean, one thing is that people are like, oh, it's not so esport friendly because you don't have that like a football game or whatever game where it's like one team against one team for the entire game and you can have rivalries going. But yet we see it here. As you just said yourself, Vitality and FaZe, they got a thing going, and they're both in the top. So I mean, sometimes one team comes out on top, sometimes the other. It's kind of interesting to follow, really.
Yeah, it's been absolutely fantastic the past couple of months. They've both been on top. But Liquid in a little bit of a showdown here with Tindergold holding down the same compound. One player already down, and it's Martin, if I'm not mistaken. We see Menox here stuck in between Ibiza and Samty, so he's in trouble. Scoom trying to hold the building to the north. They're getting the res off onto Martin, so Tindergold will still be okay. By Menox taking some shots at Samty, but does not connect. He rotates to his other player. He's going to try and peek out now and see what he can do to try and lend some support to his other team.
Yeah, and this building is as good as it can be to sit and hold angles from far away. It's a hellhole to be stuck inside because you only have so many different areas that you can get out of, and he's kind of trapped in there. So if things happen to his teammates over the other side of things, then there's not really a way for him to come and help. But with that being said, almost gets scooped down as he comes around the corner of the building. I don't even know, did he run inside or is he just sitting on the outside? No, sitting on the outside by the balcony there. So
yeah.
1v3 Menox still though trapped and far away from the teammates, even though they're kind of in the same compound.
That was definitely scary there for Scooby. He was in a tough spot. Menox had sightlines on him, the smoke kind of keeping him alive there, and he went for the run. Menox was unable to get him down, so Scoom regrouping with the rest of Liquid, and now we have a little bit of a south and north split. Scoom kind of teasing going in the building, though. Maybe a push onto Menox might be on its way, as the Emperor was kind of waiting at the bottom of the stairs just to make sure Menox can't rotate out of here.
Yeah, exactly. He just needs to stalemate this. Like, all he needs is to keep him in check and make sure that there's no way in hell that he's giving info to his teammates, and there's no way that his teammates are doing anything to help him. If the Ibiza and the other guys can keep off marching at the guys, and they can, and then the Scoom can just keep. Well, I mean, what they're doing right now is that Scoom is holding the stairs, and Ibiza is holding the balcony. So there's no way for him to get out, really. They're all just waiting for him to do something. You see Niels and the guys, as I said before, they would move up from the gas station to the compound up by the guys from Team Symphony. They made their way up there, so really nice positioning by them. And with this next zone, I mean, if this shifts hard east, like down over towards Stalper, this is going to be so tough for a lot of these teams because it's just going to be fields and hills. And,
yeah, absolutely. And, you know, Crimson's actually over there on the east feeling pretty good right now. They're barely in the zone. They're taking their time, being very patient. They lost one player early, but the other three still up just inside of Stalber, kind of at the top of the mountain. It'll all be a downhill fight for them the rest of this game, regardless of where it goes. And it does go pretty much dead center to the south. So Liquid and Tindergold, that little standoff we had, they're both safe in the zone. Unfortunately, FaZe is going to have to move very, very far to the south. They're all the way up in the north, and they need to come down.
Yeah, they were staying up here, as I said earlier. That was pretty much the only play that they could do with the circle that they had in that situation. And now, I mean, where people always play center, everyone, I believe, other than the guys that we have right here, Menox and the guys from Tindergold up against Liquid, they're all going to be playing edge. Everybody knows that people, I mean, every single compound in this area is taken. Every good position in here is taken already, and if it's not already taken, then it will be taken within the next couple of seconds because people are rotating in so fast. So everyone's going to be sitting out there on the edges, just trying to clear everything, clear their back. You see FaZe actually nice rotation coming up over Stalber, but they're going to be running straight into two teams now.
Yeah, they're going around Vitality and Great People only, and if they get past them, they do have Crimson even further. FaZe trying to wrap around the blue. It's dangerous because any team really being patient, taking their time, playing the blue right now, they're going to run into, and Crimson is doing just that. Jempty actually hopping out, going into the blue, eating some damage to rotate into Stalber just to give a good check here to make sure they don't run into anybody up on top of the hill. Crimson has actually started to move down, so it's likely FaZe ends up right behind them.
Really smart move on their part, just hogging the edge of the circle, and even more good for them, they have 4 bikes. Their ability to do fast rotations alongside your teammates, like you whole uphill with the US as you go down to like 60, 70 kilometers an hour. These guys have such a good aim that if you go down low speed, man, you're going to be taken out immediately. And fortunately for them, they were able to get the top of the hill, but as I said before, now they have to push down, and that is not an easy task, especially not with Crimson sitting right down the hill waiting for them.
Yeah, and there you see Xhead actually spotting out Pipus, but not taking any shots, being very patient. He's right next to Lockwood, though, and immediately sprays him down. So 1 down for Crimson right away, and it's now a 4v2.
It's not exactly going to be easy. I mean, they must have heard the bikes coming in, so surprised to see both Pipus and NBS kind of running off, while Lockwood was the only guy they left behind to kind of keep their backs clear. Normally in this situation, because they're playing up the hill so far, you would want to have 2 guys looking up the hill and 1 guy just sort of making sure that everything down the hill is clear and then push down together. In the meantime, though, Zambula going nuts. It's everyone fighting against everyone as the guys with Vitality go up against Great People only.
Yeah, absolutely. And Shadow actually going down there. Vitality in a lot of trouble. They still have 2 up. They put a lot of damage out on Great People only, but it's team number 6, House of Nobles, that take a lot of shots in this direction. So both teams taking a lot of damage. You see the one player kind of keeping an eye on it on the mini-map over there. Vitality has to try and go here, see if they can get a pickup onto Shadow, but while that's happening, Sampula was rezzed by Kajudi, so he's okay. Shiv going for a little bit of a flank, seeing if he can get around and find one.
This could work in so well. I'm expecting... Yeah, he must have heard him. He's just waiting for him up there. But will he spot him? No, that's the big question. Oh, scopes in. Could be dangerous. Now he knows that he's on top of the hill there as well. Will be spotted, and there you go. Shiv's going to be taken down as well. Oryx did get the rest up onto Shadow, and now he actually decides to push early on despite Shadow not having gotten his HP back up yet.
Yeah, they did get it down onto Kajudi there, too, which is super important. So Sampula here just got to kind of hold the peak. More shots coming out from Raxhead. Looks like the grenade was teased a little bit, taking the shots. No down, and Rax actually goes down in return. So Shadow now the only one up for Team Vitality. He needs to try and make a play here or escape, and it looks like he might retreat out of this one, leave his 2 fallen teammates behind.
Yeah, fortunately for him, they did get the knock onto one, so they're kind of forced to shift their focus there. But you see he's outside the zone, he needs to push down, and there's no way he's getting out of this alive if he doesn't take the run now. Butsman and the guys from House of Nobles just down the hill, all he can do right now, because he just got shot at from those guys as well, just lay low and hope that the guys from Great People Only and House of Nobles kind of run into each other. That can allow him to get out of this one without having to force a fight with anyone.
Yeah, absolutely. During this whole rotation on the eastern side and all the fights, it is actually Diamond Dogs that have gotten center circle. They're holding down the strongest position in the middle of the zone. It'll be interesting to see how all the other teams push. You see Ultrazar, you see Tom, you see Rustenmar, and Luxno all in a very good position in the zone. But now they have to worry about defending it. From all sides, players will come. The shot from Rustenmar with AWM does not get the knock, actually rocking a little bit of a 15x scope here.
Yeah, might as well. I mean, if you get it, you gotta pick it up, right? I mean, it's one of those things, even if it's a weapon that you might not like, but I got it in a crate, I need to use it, right? And I feel like that's the same with the 15x. I mean, you cannot see there's no rendering difference in the 8x than the 15x. Just get those, like that zoom a bit heavier. I mean, I don't know, but it's probably just because we don't get to use it as often, but I would rather, like almost always rather play a 8x over a 15x.
Yeah, I completely agree.
It's just too zoomed in.
Yeah. You're like looking into your opponent's soul when you zoom in with the 15x. You're looking inside. You know exactly what they're thinking, their thoughts, their mindset. As soon as you zoom in with the 15x. FaZe coming down the hill, trying to get a nice location in the zone. We have Enzelenzo of Havu Gaming trying to throw some smokes out, a little bit of a distraction, trying to stay alive. Havaki there with him just to his north. But that is it for Havu. That's just that duo that needs to defend. And they have 2 players from Great People Only coming down as well.
And the fact of the matter is, FaZe, they're putting all their attention down the hill. Oh, fortunately for them, that Flex came in and third-partied this fight. because they had all their focus down towards the guys from Havu, and there you have it, just a little bit of third partying coming in from Flixo on the other side of the hill, because he could easily have taken out at least one more of the guys from FaZe before they would be able to register where he was shooting at them from. But fortunately for him, Flix to the rescue there.
Yeah, Flix with a big save, and Skew kind of moves in and will get the res onto Sampula once again. So picking them up. Great people only really staying alive here. They've taken a lot of damage from Vitality, from FaZe, from team number 6, House of Nobles. So they're under a lot of pressure, and they still have to move in on top of FaZe and Havu while taking shots from the north. So it's a tough push. You see Sampula. Oh, that's a good grenade. That's
goodbye.
There it is.
Nothing to do there. Nice nade from space, and yeah, I mean, at least now they know where they are, so they will know what angle to hold. They're sitting just on the edge of the zone like everything else that's closing in as we speak. Look at the damage taken. There you have it. They will be going down. So team number 10 out for this first game. And more people you see, we were talking about before, actually only got Diamond Dogs sitting center of the zone. Everybody hawking the edges, as we talked about earlier. But once again, Milo and the guys from Liquid getting the advantage with those zones or circles, I guess you should say, as the compound is still inside.
Yeah, that fight is going to have to pop off eventually. It's Tindergold right here, team number 4, and Liquid. You see them, Ibiza did get knocked, but has been res. The 3 players from Liquid are Scoom, Samty, and Ibiza. Tindergold with 4. They're still in the circle. Unfortunately, Liquid is not. They're going to have to push onto this building of Menox, or at least get past there to maintain a spot in the zone. You see Pybus over here with Crimson, the last remaining member, just kind of hiding down, prone, living the snake life, and FaZe up in the corner. They're going to have to come down onto Havu any minute now.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how they're gonna, like, what their plan is as far as getting away from it, because they know with the way the place they're sitting, they don't have vehicles, and they're forced to make a move out in the open. They cannot push down the one way because they just had a fight there. There are no people down there, and I'm not sure exactly what their what their plan is in getting away from it. They've been doing good so far, but this might be a bit too big of a task for them.
Yeah, absolutely. So Havaki and Enzelenzo, they have a tough battle ahead of them with FaZe. Here we see up on top, team number 6, House of Nobles, they're actually going to rotate around a little bit, get away from FaZe, get away from Havu, and try and move directly south across the middle of this upper part of the zone. Taking some shots at Diamond Dogs, actually. Some nice connecting shots onto Tommel with Flix. Flix was in such a bad spot at the beginning of this game, but he has just raised hell out here in the north afterwards.
Yeah, they've been doing good. He was kind of forced to just sit and do nothing up in Yasnaya early on, but now he gets to come out and say, I can fight people. I can actually shoot without having to just hide my my butt off. And just as I say that, he gets knocked. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, of course. It's the catcher curse. It's bad luck. It's bad
I
luck.
guess so, yeah.
So Penta still has one up on the northern part in the middle of the new circle. So they're going to hold down there. It looks like they may have 2 actually on that spot. At least 1, though. We do have some other players moving in right now. Diamond Dogs taking a lot of damage as they try and move into the zone. It looks like they may be down to 1 after this huge run. And actually, team number 8, Penta, still has 4 alive. You see the other 3 appearing on the western part of the mini-map there. So they're in a really good position, especially if this circle after this zone pulls away from the compound and puts Tindergold and Liquid in a really tough spot.
Oh yeah, this zone could most definitely be, like, just it could tell us who's gonna win this game and who's not, because they've been so fortunate to sit inside this area for so long. Now you see Pipe has been taken down there. Ooh, fortunate nade for Rustenmar not being finished off there. But yeah, this zone could most definitely determine who's gonna win this game and who's not, depending on whether these guys are forced to make a move out of the compound or not.
Oh, look at the patience by Rustenmar here. He's waiting for the headshot. Here comes Mobsy trying to run. Will he get to the crate? No, another team's actually going to take it out.
He doesn't even get the kill.
Chronix. Wow, Chronix from behind there. So now Rustenmar is just going to live behind the rock. They all know where he is. Look at the push coming out from Penta right now. Down goes Rustenmar. It's Brexco from the side. And now Penta owns the zone. They're the only team up in the north, and only 3 teams are alive. We did lose FaZe there, so it's just Tindergold, Scoom, and then all 4 members of Penta.
Yeah, surprised to see that the guys from Tindergold won this fight, won this 3v1 without losing a single guy. That's rather impressive. Liquid, one of the better, like, well, I guess all these teams are the better teams in this league, but a really solid team. But of course, they did have the favor in being able to stay in their buildings, and the Liquid kind of forced to do something as their building in the compound was outside the zone, and that benefited the guys from Tindergold, and that's how they were taken down in the end. At least that's that's as far as I figured it. Taylor pushed up to the circle, sort of trying to see if he can could do something here. But what would you do here? Would you push everyone just on the edge here, or would you try to sort of clear the area first and then push in? Because it is open. I mean, it's just trees and open.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough push if you're Tindergill trying to come out of this compound. The biggest issue is they know Scoom is still alive. And that could be a huge thorn in their side as they're moving into the zone. 5 seconds till it starts collapsing. All 4 members, they have 1 member in, so 3 still need to move into the zone, and they have Scoom behind them. And they have to worry about taking this fight and at least trying to get a knock onto one of the Penta players before they really start moving. So they do clear out Scoom right away as Menox. Menox not going to rotate around, but he's about 1 shot from going down. Taylor has found a spot in the zone, and look at all the shots coming out from Penta right now. Keeping the pressure on. I'd be amazed to see Tindergold really, really create a strong base in this episode.
Yeah, they need to get all the smokes tossed that they can to make some sort of a wall, because the distance between them and the tree, you see Taylor is up at the first tree, but they cannot sit 4 people and hug the same tree. They need to go elsewhere. Braxco and the guys holding all the angles. I mean, they're pretty much narrowed down the different places they can be. You see Cup Magic getting the first knock onto Milos, and the 3 guys remaining spraying through the smoke here, and this is just going to be a matter of time before the guys from Tindergold most likely will be taken down. But you know, it's PUBG. Anything can happen.
Yeah, they just need to get a knock. It's so vital. If you get a knock and then, you know, these players go for a res, all of a sudden it's only 2 people shooting at you and it's sustainable. But right now, with all 4 up, the pressure that Penta's putting out is insane. Milaw is killed off. So Tindergill is down to 3. I'm amazed they got somebody in the zone. More shots out of Martin, and Hill goes down as well. So now Tindergill's down to just 2. And it's Menox and Taylor. Menox going down. Taylor all alone, solo dream against 4. He gets one on the right though really quickly.
Fortunately for him, there's no, what do you call it, like construction, like you cannot destroy the nature, so that they cannot tilt over the tree like they could do in other games. So he has that tree for eternity, and fortunately for him the zone is close, but he's not going to be able to stay, and there you have it. Couple Magic with the headshot.
So Penta Sports will get first place in this game. Tindergill taking a smooth second, and Team Liquid coming out in third thanks to the survivability of Scoom so far.
Yeah, really, really solid performance coming in from they kind of had to share. I mean, they were never alone in a place that they went Liquid. They looted up Yasnaya. They were not contested, but Flix was there, and that sort of held Samty from being able to loot up the way that he wanted to. Then they push up to the compound. We already had Tentacle sitting up there, so they never really had a place to kind of call their own. They were forced into fights throughout the entire game. So good performance by them to make it that far. Raxco and the guys, though, 11 kills in the first place. That is one hell of a solid performance.
Yeah, you got to feel pretty good after that one. That's a great way to start the day if you're Penta Sports right now. So we're going to very quickly kick it back to the desk. Toby, thank you for joining me in game number 1. We will be back with you in game number 2. I do very much appreciate it.
Anytime, buddy.
So game number 1 ends, and of course it is Penta Sports grabbing the win, a 2nd place coming out of Tindergill, and a 3rd from Team Liquid. We saw incredible violence and aggression from Team Liquid, and a really awkward compound situation for Tindergill that they eventually cleaned up, but a little too late as Penta Sports was able to get a sustained spot in the zone and defend it. This, of course, is the EU Showdown Series. That was game 1. We have 3 more games here for you today with our top 16 EU teams. What we're going to do now is take a small break. When we come back, we'll kind of break down game number 1 a little bit, and then we will hop into game number 2 with myself, and the name is Toby.
right now. It is just too dangerous.
Welcome back once again, everyone, to the PUBG Online EU Showdown Series. Game 1 is now officially in the books, and it was Penta Sports grabbing a big, big win. Of course, this is the Showdown Series. This is EU. We did split number 1, and our top 16 teams will now compete in split number 2 for their share of $20,000 over a 5-week period. This, of course, week number 3. We are right in the middle of it all. Now, we have a very special guest, though, if I'm not mistaken. And we're going to send it over to our on-field reporter, Mr. Mustache Dave. Dave, my friend.
Hey,
I see
Jabroni,
I see you on the screen right now. Everybody's lining up and getting ready for this game here. What's the mentality right now for these players?
I mean, they are nervous. We just had one game here tonight. This is the EU Showdown, Jabroni. You guys did a phenomenal job, but they are on the cusp. Things are going off. I mean, there's some BM going on during the break. I heard Scoom, to be able to sneak his way into that third place spot, Jabroni.
That third place spot. I was worried about Scoom there. Now, if I'm not mistaken, in game number 1 there, were you hiding a little bit in that compound with them?
I was trying to stay safe, trying to stay secure. I was in the bathtub prone. Yes. No leaks. No leaks.
You were in the bathtub prone there. That's a really good job by you actually staying alive. There's a lot of shots going out. Now, Dave, here we're heading into game number 2. Obviously, in game number 1, we did have the zone go up to the north here. How did that affect some of the players?
Well, it was actually pretty crazy, Jabroni, because we had so many rotations coming in here up to that starboard, and then all the different elevations. I mean, it just came into play. It was phenomenal. I mean, I had to really get there ahead of time to get into that bathroom. But all in all, it's just crazy. The players out here, it's a little windy out here tonight. Whoa, I got some. Hey, pick up your garbage. Who's that? Oh, man, these guys.
Yeah, completely out of control. Now, Dave, as we go around and we're looking at all the players as they're getting warmed up for the game here, who's looking specifically good to you?
Oh, man. You said specifically, right?
Yeah.
Tinder Gold. They got the finest name.
The finest name for Tinder Gold. That I totally understand. Now, Dave, of course, we're getting a little bit of feedback and questionable mic stuff because you are, of course, out in the field. I know it's not going great for you. I see Brykesco there behind you. I see some other players. How about that performance there from Penta Sports?
Penta Sports, in particular, able to frag out of their minds, get the first place finish. They definitely need that because, as you recall, coming into tonight, Crimson, their rivals, were at the top, right? Am I wrong?
Yeah, no, you're right. Crimson was definitely holding down that number 1 spot.
Whoa. Hey, who's that? Who that guy? Look at his glasses. Hey, sir, can I ask you a question? Now, Jabroni, maybe I'll get him to talk a little bit later, ask him where he bought his hat at.
Yeah, Dave, we now need to hop into game number 2. Thank you for joining me. We'll check in with you again a little bit later for some updates, my friend.
All right. I'll stay safe. Thanks, man.
See you later. And now we are in game number 2. Jabroni Mac here with the name is Toby. Mustache Dave, always a character, man.
Oh yeah. I mean, what was it? Raining garbage, and unfortunately no interview from Brax. He was about to get into the plane, so I guess it makes sense. Once again,
Dave is just the best.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
no, I'm literally just praising Dave. Like I want Dave involved in as many things as humanly possible at this point.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy. Surprised to see even now with the plane favoring Alliance and the fact that they could go both Novo and military. They don't do either once again, but at least now we have the guys from Harbor. I guess they're sort of forced to go towards military to find themselves some vehicles to go down towards Primorsk. But that's a long ride there. Plane going Novo pretty much over. I guess Severn South were sort of split. So for the West Coast teams, kind of a far way to go, but we'll see where the circle will take us in just a moment.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of those teams, you see them jumping out, heading west towards Georgia Pole, towards the Rostock area. It'll be interesting to see how they match up. One of the hot spots for vehicles there, if you kind of follow the bridges, you follow the road there, pretty much parallel of where Rustenmar and Luxno are. A lot of vehicles in that area, and it's kind of scary, you know, when you have a plane off to one side and everybody jumps for them. It's whoever gets it first gets to drive away, and whoever doesn't better have a tree to hide behind.
Yeah, and you see the guys on the East Coast, I mean, they're already looting. Genside, Andrea already looting. An entirety of Face, I mean, already looting. Vitality already looting. Some of these guys, they're not even out of their parachutes yet. And once they get out of the parachutes, they need to find vehicles, and they need to drive half a map to the west. And if the zone shifts east, I mean, that's going to give them a total of, what, 2.5, 3 minutes tops to lose. And I mean, to loot. I mean, if they have just half the luck that I have looting, they'll get out of there with a P. Well, maybe just a P1911 and a level 1 helmet and a pan. That will be what they'll get. Fortunately, though, for them, zone shifts northwest.
Yeah, exactly. I was worried about it, too, because it is one of those things. When you have a plane on one side and then the circle favors that side again, it creates a huge problem for everyone that was trying to drop and loot on the other one. It could have been really, really bad here. We see Avangard team at number 7, moving around Mumino and Nuktiv, Keen, and Dies, all spread out kind of split looting, but right near them, also doing a little bit of the split is Diamond Dogs. They were looking for some vehicles, all kind of dropping on top of one another. That's why you see them all running in different directions right now.
Yeah, I mean, I know that Avangard and the guys, they're a really, really North George favorite team. Unfortunately for them, the plane didn't allow for them to go there, and now as you can see, Noctiv looking for a vehicle here doesn't really have one in its disposal either. But I guess a good thing is that there are still so many urban areas inside the new zone. You do have North George there, you do have, or George Bowl in general is there, Rostock is in there as well, Gatka is in there, not the best looting place, but it can be, you get surprised sometimes in Gatka. No, but the fact of the matter is that the first zone is pretty much the first circle is pretty much the only circle these guys spent to loot. Normally, people like us, Jabroni, I mean, we can be in the zone 3 or 4, but like, you know what? I actually need 3 more bandages, so I might just start looting this apartments building because, you know, I know there's only 10 people left, but I cannot die without bandages, right? These guys, they only use. I know, right? These guys, they pretty much only, like, as soon as the first circle hits and this like circle 2 is popped and shown, looting phase is over. Everybody leaves the urban areas, and that's it. So fortunate for these guys that the places that they were going, you see an Octave and the guys not even at North Georgia yet. The fact of the matter that city is inside the next zone will give them those 1 or 2 minutes extra to loot that they lost early. So that's that's really important for them.
Yeah, once again, we see House of Nobles here with Team Liquid in Yasna, kind of sharing this city a little bit, kind of learning to be friendly with one another. All right, you guys take the eastern half, we'll take the western, stay the hell away from me, and I won't shoot you, type of deal. But it is, what you brought up there, Toby, is kind of interesting because for a lot of these teams, you're 100% right. Once that second zone pops and they need to move into circle, and that's their priority, that's their decision, everything from there on out is about positioning. It's not about having weapons, it's not about having meds, it's not about looting. It's, all right, maybe if we take a compound later, we'll loot what's inside, but besides that, we're not moving around looking for any items from this point forward.
Exactly. You can be fortunate that you come to a compound out in the open, which is, well, the majority of compounds that people go for, and there will be upgrade to your vest, upgrade to your helmet. But a lot of people would rather go in to zone number 2 or circle number 2 with a AR and maybe a SMG secondary and a level 1 vest than having to spend 1.5 more minutes running around in a city searching for stuff when they could have moved on early. That's the importance of getting good positionings, even in the early circles.
Yeah, absolutely. So we see Vitality here moving around Milta. They have plenty of time. They had a nice friendly flight path, so they were able to jump. It came, of course, on the eastern side from Military. So the Milta Power, FaZe, and Vitality have to be feeling pretty good about their loot so far here. You see, I mean, a Tommy gun on a rack saying a level 1 helmet. Maybe you're not feeling that good.
No, it's. I mean, it's not the best of things. But then again, I mean, they just need to have the guys with the good loot, force fights, kill people. They can get the loot, and there you have it. I mean, there's a reason these guys are in the top, I believe, top 3 at the moment in PUBG Showdown. These are really good teams, and even but like a lot of the times, it doesn't come down to who had the better weapon in this fight. As you said before, it's all about positioning, peeking at the right time. Like strategic favors or advantages outweigh the better weapon 9 out of 10 times in this game. Unless, of course, if it's a crossbow against, I don't even know. You know what I'm trying. You know where I'm trying to get
against
at.
almost any gun. Yes.
Yeah,
I definitely understand.
So 9 out of 10 times, the better position and the better yeah, just in general, the better position will outweigh having a better weapon in this game. And this is, I believe, one of the factors too that, like, since the difference in damage in these weapons, it's there, but it's so small on a competitive level, then they would always rather have a good position and a terrible weapon than good weapon and a terrible position.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. So Tindergill was up in the north, kind of moving around here. You have a little AUG crate, not bad. It got the extended quick draw mag in case you find yourself. Yeah, hey, I love the AUG, man. The AUG
it is amazing.
It is a gem when I find it in there. It sounds fantastic. I feel badass when I'm running around with it. It's awesome.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I feel like they gifted more to the crate weapons. When you play a video game where you kind of feel like you're actually shooting the weapon, like simply because of the animation and the audio, it just feels like you're actually there shooting the gun. I feel like that's the experience I get with the Groza, with the M24, the AWM specifically, and the AUG and those weapons. Whereas you shoot with the UMP, it's more like a sort of a, what do you call it, BB gun? Or
Yeah.
it's like more of a sort of airsoft pistol, and it's like, nah. Nah, it doesn't really do it. It doesn't give me the full satisfaction of playing first-person shooter games.
Yeah, absolutely. So team number 6 here, House of Nobles. They've moved out of Yaz, found a spot. They're in the circle, just barely, kind of checking out some compounds on the way, seeing if maybe they can catch a few players on rotation for some early kills, kind of getting as much intel as they possibly can. And it's an interesting zone because this zone does have a river running right through it. This could go north or it could go south. If it goes north, you're feeling great if you're a team like Tindergold right now. But if it goes south, Alliance kind of moving in that direction, kind of playing that, and Method kind of holding down west of Pachinki. They're going to kind of play that, not move too much. Don't move out of your current position if you have the potential to gain a lot from a zone shift in this direction.
Yeah, and I could actually imagine teams like maybe not FaZe, but teams like Crimson actually staying outside the zone and waiting for the next zone to pop. Because as you just said yourself, whether the zone is going to go north or south of the river, it's going to have such a big impact on what compounds you want to go for. And where you want to sit yourself coming up to the next circle. So I could actually see teams deliberately on purpose stay outside the zone just because they don't want to get gatekept, they don't want to have people shooting at them, and they just wait for the next zone to pop. Because right now, as you could see in the map just before, so many teams committing to the southern side. We only have 1.5 team, I guess you could say, on the northern side of the river right now. So Crimson, the guys could go north. There's so many entry points to this circle, so no real reason to rush anything. Just play it safe and wait for it.
Yeah, a lot of the teams too, we see them kind of go very late with the first zone, so they get there as it shifts, which then allows them to just push for the center of zone number 2 right away. So you'll see a lot of teams kind of rotating in. They're kind of teasing a little bit. The blue will close, it'll click, and then you're like, boom, where's zone 2? Here it is. Let's move right now. We didn't need a good spot in zone number 1. Nobody cares if you have a good location in zone number 1 because it's so good.
Yeah, exactly. Couldn't have said it any better myself. But the fact of the matter is, you don't want to enter a zone down south if it shifts north, because then you know, okay, wait, I have to drive through all these teams in order to get up to the northern part. So might as well take that 1 or 2 booster required more in damage while you wait far enough outside the zone that you can actually enter it from any direction that you want. But it will be exciting to see if people are going to do this. So this is just me hot airing and not knowing what I'm talking about. Crimson, you can see they're they're not in a hurry. As you can see, NBS and Lockwood up in the northern part. I call that the scenic route up there, FaZe during their standard Bobby's Naya route. Yeah, exactly. Just sort of chilling, not in a real hurry. And they've got so much room to work with up here in the northern part. As I said before, so many teams on the southern side, and everything from south to north is bridges. You can see as Naya is going to be out of the picture, so people probably won't rotate outside the city around the river. Everything is going to be bridges to connect the southern to the northern side here. It's going to be interesting to see if teams are actually committing to compounds on either side. You do see the guys fighting. Actually, Liquid now sitting there all against Botsman. This is going to be hard, and there you go, taken down.
Yeah, Botsman was just kind of rotating in. He stopped at a tough spot, kind of eyeballing it out a little bit. Was spotted out by Liquid, and they clean him up as he is all alone. So House of Nobles will lose 1, and it will be the first kill of the game going to Liquid. They're fragging early today. They're being aggressive. Look at this 3-team meetup right now. Team number 6, House of Nobles, taking some shots of Vitality as they drive by. And right next to them, if I'm not mistaken, is that Great People Only. It is kind of pulling up.
Yeah, and so fortunate for them that Flick started shooting down towards Vitality, because that gave them the sound cue. Guys, turn around the vehicles, turn around the vehicles. The hill at which Flick is sitting right now, such a good spot. to sit in for rotation kills, and all of these guys wanted that spot, but fortunately for team number 10, they were able to get out with just a scare as Flick started shooting early.
Yeah, Vitality and Great People Only both able to escape from that one without losing any. So kind of regroup here as you see them all pulling. They're like, all right, that could have went awful, but it didn't. We're all right. They were all driving right up at that hill, but it was the shots coming out early from Flicks, kind of giving them the idea of like, hey, maybe we should turn around and not drive towards these gunshots.
Sounds like a good plan to me. Zone is gonna be popping up early. Actually, we do have Alliance and Pony, the guys from Symphony and Alliance. They're fighting down in Ruins, not a place to see fights go off very often. Jensen as well fighting around, sort of around the Ruins area.
Yeah, Genside taking a lot of shots over here towards Penta Sports. They're holding down the hills. There's a lot of defilade in the middle of this field, and a lot of teams really enjoy kind of utilizing it because you can kind of move up. You can get really good angles in a lot of directions. The only problem with this zone is it's very easy for a team to approach without your knowledge. If you're Penta right now, you're holding this down, you're under some pressure. If a team comes from the north, you're really not going to have any idea. But the first zone is now over. Zone number 2 pops, and we're going to head a little bit to the north, almost center, but favoriting the northern side. And look at FaZe. They're just going to move center zone.
Yeah, and you see Crimson, they're way up in the corner there as well. Mexi is still in the back. Mullen is going to cross now. There are only going to be 3 access points across the river if you don't want to toss your car. And that's the thing, you want to have your vehicles coming into the late game, especially with zones like this when there's so few compounds to play around. But in order to get those vehicles with you, you need to cross the bridges. And as you can see here, Andy sitting on the side, that everybody are playing these bridges. Anoctiv and Keen and the guys from Aragard, they're playing the bridge as well. It's going to be so hard to cross these areas, but you need to do so in order to get your vehicles with you.
Yeah, imagine being in that decision-making process. It's like, okay, we have 3 options to go. One of them Avangar's on, one of them Method's on. We need to try and drive across here and not die. And Andy and Fake just kind of sitting there waiting. They're like, all right, come on. You're going to have to come north eventually. We're going to sit here and wait for you. And a lot of the players, they're going to have to opt to swim. And it sucks. It's an awful thing to have to do, but more times than not, it's the right decision to avoid the gunfire and kind of just extend your life as much as possible.
Oh yeah, especially if you can get up on the other side. I mean, the benefit of this river is that if you don't have a position where you can see Fike and Andy sitting right now, where they can sort of look down the slope down towards the water, then you should 9 out of 10 times be able to sort of get out of the water if you do it early on. But if these teams wait until late, actually, I would be surprised, but it could be exciting to see the zone shift south after. Yeah. Like if it goes south of the water now, this would be a hell of a death thing. But Liquid now up top, Udyr Mayfire as well, taking a lot of shots from Glorious and Pony.
Yeah, a lot of shots coming out from Team Symphony. Yeah, Brexco going down for Penta Sports. That was your winner of game number 1, Penta Sports now. Udyr's going to go for the res, and it looks like they're not going to push Team Symphony. They're not going to put, they're going to throw a great grenade and get Brexco and Udyr.
Double nade to knock them both. They already lost Cup Magic, and now you see FaZe going down up in the top of the screen as well. So only one guy remaining. That's going to be Chronic, so the only guy remaining from the winners of last game. They won the last game. They could very well go down as the first team in this one.
That is a tough, tough break. They got the res. They were trying to get away, but it does not work. Crimson here taking some shots at FaZe, taking some shots at Liquid. Martin from Timbergold down during his rotation in the same area. A lot of shots coming back and forth. This is kind of a strange spot. If you're in shooting range, it's great because there's a lot of cover inside, but all around it, the vision is clear. And all these teams can take some extremely long-distance shots.
Yeah, I mean, 9 out of 10 times, the sort of advantage that you have, to a certain extent, will always be the same advantage that enemies can have towards you. So the fact that you have such an open space that you can look out to and sort of just take shots in any direction you want, kind of goes to the same direction for... or in the opposite way, that people can always also take those exact same shots towards you. That was a really clumsy way of explaining it, but I think it's right.
The words at the end, the words came out, and that's what matters, right? Santi looking for some Car 98 shots. He's got the 8x, putting them down towards Crimson, looking for NBS here. You know, kind of adjusting for the bullet drop there, trying to connect with the forehead, but it's not going well so far. These teams are just going to take shots at one another, try and keep them away as much as possible. And, of course, if you can get a highlight reel Car 98 shot, you know, I mean, why not?
I mean, the thing is that we call these shots highlight reel, I mean, around those 300, 400, 500-meter shots. But the fact of the matter is, if you just pay a little time to these guys' streams when they run around playing solo versus squads games and stuff like that, they've been practicing these long-range shots so many times that a lot of times they will know exactly the height, because very few, I've never seen a pro player that uses the whole zero ring distance thing, but their ability to sort of just do okay, this guy is so this and this big compared to my scope. This is why I need to like scope this high above his head. Their ability to land these shots, you'd be surprised. Or I get surprised.
You know what? That's actually really interesting that you bring that up. The zeroing in this game, I've thought about it, and I'm sure that a huge majority of players do not use it. But I'm really curious to see what pros do use the zeroing at all. Over on the western side, it's Bikini Model, and he's all alone from Quick Math, and he is stuck out in an open field, and Havu is waiting him, hunting him down right now. And so is Great People Only, just to make it worse.
Yeah, I don't really see what he can do in this situation. Being even worse, Bikini Model's former team was Havu, so they're probably just sitting there like, haha, we're gonna get this guy. But I mean, obviously they don't know exactly who it is. But as you saw before, his teammates just drove through North George, so there's no way in hell they're coming back to pick him up. Kind of left alone, and I'm not seeing how he's going to be able to get out of this, but we'll see. Maybe they get bored with looking for him, and I don't think this is the wise thing for him to take shots at people. But maybe if he can get one knock, it could work in his favor. And actually, there you go, gets the knock onto Armor in Mind, but now Havaki gets to fire some shots in return.
Yeah, so Havu was kind of holding Bikini Model out here, but they're putting themselves in a tough position, not much cover, so they do end up losing one. He will go down. They're going to try and get the res here if they can, but that's open. They're pretty exposed right now, where I don't really mind is down. They're going to try and clear out Bikini Model before they go for the res, but that is not going to be easy, as he is just sitting in the blue, hiding in a little piece of deflate, and he's going to wait and stand back up and take more shots.
Yeah, and the worst thing is, I mean, one thing is that they might get a kill out of this or lose one guy in doing so. And there you go, and so Linso is actually going to be knocked by Bikini as well. One thing is that they're losing players, but the zone is going to move in 5 seconds. These guys, they have so far to go. I mean, there's no reason for them to take this fight.
No,
literally
not at all.
They're losing so many people in doing so. We talked about the importance of positioning just before. There you go. I don't really mind. We'll be finished up. And Bikini Model is like, guys, why are you here? This is, in the end, just 3 points, like potential points from there. You go, gets knocked. There's not going to be a rest coming. But now the zone is shifting in, and they're really far to go. Because look at the
time to swim.
Backstep. Yep.
Yeah, this is. I'm gonna give props to any player that does not enter the water here. Method in a really good position in the cube area. Team 16, Team Symphony, they moved onto that other bridge. Right now, a little bit of a fight is breaking out between Avangar and Great People Only. One knocked player for Great People Only already. A skew, he is down, so Avangar kind of moving around here. They're teasing this fight. Great People Only trying to extend out to the one side to get a little bit of a spread. Shots coming out onto Kajuti. He dies, but he does not connect. A nice grenade makes Anuctive go flying. That is fantastic physics.
That's fantastic, but yeah. I mean, Nate's is one of PUBG's big mysteries, and I think it will.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, it is one of the joys and fearful things of PUBG.
Yeah, so
Nate's on Nate's. Yeah, but there you have it. Zampula go actually gets the knock onto Anuctive just as he gets rest. Gets him knocked back down again. So the dice or these will be. Yeah, looks like it's actually running back towards his teammates. Not pretty contesting this. Mumino coming around the corner now, trying to see if he can get a better angle towards these guys. They know kind of where they have them, but will they be able to take this fight? I'm not sure. Smoke's coming in now as they do decide to push up towards them. Yeah,
well, Mumino has a decent angle now as he moved up. He spots out Sambula. He's going to peek and try and take the shots. On our screen, no gun in hand, just holding it one-handed. He's going to throw his scar at Sambula. What an incredible toss it gets him. Wow.
Yeah.
The exploding scar there.
Scar toss. And, and Kajuti gets one knock. Dice gets a knock in return there as well. Moving around the corner. Actually, we have quite a few of these guys now. This is the last guy on his feet, and there you have it. The majority of Team 10 taken down in this game. First team to go down.
I'm amazed there that Avangar can come out on top in that situation. They were really under a lot of pressure. The new zone pops, and it does go to the south again. Method feeling good. Alliance feeling good. Team Symphony, they have control of the bridge. Everybody else, this is going to be a tough push down. Jorski from Havu moving right away, but he's under a lot of fire from Quick Math. A couple other players trying to get in the zone. Havaki, you see him going down up in the northeast. And now it is time to swim. A couple players already in. Yeah. Jorski's going to join them for Havu, and I would not be surprised if 30 out of these 50 remaining players are doing laps in the pool.
Yeah, a lot of teams will most likely be going for that. Because what you don't really see on the map when you look at it is the fact that the entire top side above the road right there is pretty much one downhill. There's a little flat spot around the dirt road that you see there, but it's all downhill towards the river. It's so tough. You could sit up there on the top and hope that you get the next 2 or 3 zones in a row in your favor, but at any point in the game, if you're forced to move down, you're in a hell of a position. So everybody trying to sort of chess playing their way out of it, just kind of think 2 moves ahead. Can we sit up here even if the zones don't favor us? And Matt right there and saying, nope, we cannot. So people want to go south instead, and that's why people sort of, forced to jump into the river.
Yeah, and it's one of those situations, what do you do? If you're FaZe on the eastern side by the bridge, if you're Liquid over there, obviously you have to cross the bridge first, but you can't do that. You have to get in the water. And then how do you get out of the water? That's the problem that so many of these players have. You're in a position where water is your only option. You see Mixie and Fuzzface down there swimming. But how do they ever get back into this game now? How do you pop up and find land and actually play?
Yeah, I mean, for the majority of teams, they actually see FaZe time and time again do decide to leave the water in order to try and see if they can make some plays rather than just stay there and try to see how good placement they get. But there's kind of a saying that once you commit to the water, there ain't no getting back from there, and these guys know that as well. They're just going to be swimming in towards the circle. Now they're in. Could potentially see them go up on the shore. They do have a bit of a ridge there working in their favor, but also Glory and Pony and the guys, they're sitting up there waiting, just with their fishing poles, just waiting for them. But look at the amount of teams in the northern side of the circle that are forced to make a push down. Crimson, Tindergold, and also I believe we have the guys from Team 7 here, the guys from Avangard, all up there, and all need to go downhill at some point.
Yeah, and it's super important now because this fight could give one of these teams a great location in the next zone. As long as they do survive, Crimson kind of pinched between the two, but it was Avangard getting 1 player down immediately. So they're going to have to take some shots, get some support, get the res off as fast as possible. He's looking for Jambawe right now as Mumino, seeing if he can actually clear this up a little bit. Crimson barely almost in the zone, but not really. Avangard the same situation, and they do have one scary little player from Havu Gaming to their west, Enzo Lenzo. You see him back there. He may come in and have a huge effect here as these 3 teams fight it out.
Yeah, fortunately for them, he's the only guy remaining for his team, so odds are that he won't take fights, even if it's free kills for him. He'd probably rather stay safe, because he never knows whether it's going to be 2 or 3 or 4 guys in front of him. Even though he spots 2, there could always be that 1 more guy, and rather get 3 placements better than get 2 kills and then die. So, fortunately for him, that's kind of working in the favor of all these guys, I guess you could say, that he's not going to be partaking in the fighting. But there you have it, Crimson squaring off against the guys from Tindergold. Only Lockwood on his feet right now.
That's a cheeky little move.
Yeah, he's kind of in this rough spot. He's outside the zone, and yeah, it's going to be real tough for him to do anything. Currently, sitting in first place overall is Crimson, but right now I don't see them getting out of the Lockwood down as well, and just 1 guy remaining up the Pipers. It's going to be the only guy. He's running straight down towards Avangard.
Yeah, well, you got to feel pretty good if you're Avangard here. You got in a little bit of a fight here with Crimson. They take out Pipers. He will be killed off. That was Keen getting that kill. But Avangard kind of moving into the zone. They're right on top of Crimson. That fight started, and Crimson decided, hey, let's just rotate out of this one. Let's move.
Wait, they have
and they moved
MBS
right
in the zone.
into Tindergold.
I didn't see that. They do have MBS down in the water. That's why they decided to play the way they did. I was like, why are they forcing these fights if they don't have anyone alive? Why are they forcing these fights? But this is kind of the strat that a lot of teams do with water being a factor in the later zones. It's like, we might as well just see how many kills we can get up here, and then it's just sort of a safe, in case everything else goes wrong kind of decision, that at least we have 1 guy in the water that can try and see if he can get place.
Well, now, water's a huge issue. Nice shots on the Shadow from Jeems there. Vitality killed off in 13th, no problem. Those are some wild shots coming out of Jeems. Very, very clean. FaZe actually losing Mixie as well. So that might be the end of FaZe, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if the other 2 ever got into the zone and out of the water. It looks like they did not. FaZe eliminating this as well.
12th place for basically Genside and Alliance. I mean, Alliance, they've been sitting down here for, I don't know, 3 or 4 circles now in this little compound down here in the northwestern side of Ruins, and now they're finally forced to find people. I mean, there's only so many areas remaining that you can sit in this game. There are still 44 people alive, and there you have it. Just Jeems, nice little 2-tap there to the head of Shift to finish off Vitality. Good place by him, but there you have it, Meter! The return fire onto Vic, really quick knock there, and could potentially give them an opportunity here. But as far as I can see it, yep, and I don't see them leaving this place at all. They have the broken wall, they have the buildings, no reason for them to push anything, even though they got a knock there.
Yeah, absolutely. So they'll kind of have to move in. They'll be able to hold this one down, but it is Genside to the east, kind of pushing up a little bit onto Alliance. They're not being too aggressive, though. They're kind of staying in their little ravine over here. They don't want to push up too far. They don't want to be eliminated early. It's very scary because when you're in the water, in a water situation like this with water at play, if your team is eliminated, even with only about 20 players left, there's a very decent chance that you end up outside of the top 10 because of how many solos can live through the water.
Oh yeah, it's rough, especially when there are 10 people remaining and you die and you get 9th place in squats. That's when that's when keyboards start flying and we get garbage with these situations like we saw with the Masters debut earlier. I mean, that's when things start flying around because that's frustrating.
Yeah, absolutely. Menok trying to run down, but the shots are coming out from Santi, and it looks like Liquid will be able to take him down. Yes, they do. He is taken down. At the same time, Malaw actually going down to James. So 2 players from Tinderguild getting downed right there, and it looks like all of the remaining members up in the north are gone. I'm sure they have a swimmer kind of prancing around as it looks like they were not completely eliminated. Avangar has moved all players into the water, and now, yeah, you see Taylor from Tinderguild, so they still have hopes alive in him. Sunbird, NBS, Flicks, all solos, Reaper points solo as well, but not in the water, actually playing the rocks, and he's dead. Okay.
I mean, Method, they still got 4 people alive. They have a pretty good position. The only issue for them being that the entire northern side of that ridge there, or the water bed, I guess you could say, is, well, open, to say the least. There's not really any cover for them. They don't. I'm not even sure if they have their vehicles here. They probably should have, so they could potentially make a bit of a vehicle fort here. But you see, there's only a rock and a few more things, and that's it. But I could actually expect, with just the majority of the part of the map being on the southern side, that we actually do finally get to see the water not being a factor anymore, and the zone could go south. I hope for it to happen, but you never know. In the meantime, though, you have Genside, KS Philo making its way around the Lions here. Actually, a really sneaky move on their part.
Yeah, this is one of the worst zones I think I've ever seen. The water's almost dead center, and it's kind of still split going into like one of the final circles here. Shots coming out from Genside. They do get a quick knock onto Metter. They're going to push up a little bit. Shots from Sigsy, though, almost trading it out. He does get one. He gets blue, looks for another, does get another as well. Easy is traded out by Andrew. Now a 3rd down from Sigsy. And that's it for Genside.
What a performance. Great peaks by Sigsy. Kind of confusing push by Genside. Not sure if their communication was on point there, because it looked like a lot of them were sort of peeking the same angles, and then when they were peeking the same angles, they all looked away at the same time as well. So I don't know if it was a communication breach or what it was there, but unfortunately for Genside, taken out there in 10th place. But in the end, they did manage to get 60 down with them.
Yeah, but now the fight up in the north, it's Method and Liquid. It's time for them to do battle and see who gets to stay in the zone, still alive and not swimming. Moment taking some shots in the direction of Ibiza and James, looking for them. Nice shot onto the head of Ibiza there. Santi actually did go down to Pony Rider, so Pony Rider kind of being a pain in the 4v4 that was set up right now. Looking for James and does get James is fake. Ibiza now in a little bit of trouble. Scoom, I guess, was pushing up a little closer to the water. Shots are coming out onto him right now. Faking it now, moving to the zone. They do have a rock they could use for now. It will not be safe if it completely closes, though.
Yeah, it's gonna be outside the zone. They're forced to keep moving. The only thing is, when can they move? Because don't shoot your teammate. That's not the wise thing to do, Pike. He's forced, as you can see, forced to make a move down. They do have a few trees and a rock. There you go. Nice move by a Noctive, getting out of the water, getting 2 knocks. Will he be able to get Maul as well? Great move from a Noctive. Will he get there you go. Takes out
He got all
them.
4. A Noctive getting all 4. He came out and got Chris originally and then pushed up behind, and it's Avangar cleaning up Method, keeping Liquid's hopes alive. Ibiza gets to survive through this one behind the rock, and the zone goes to the south. Alliance,
Finally.
They have 2 players down there.
And this is kind of what I mean, this is the thing that you can do from the water, because once people commit to the water, everyone is like, yeah, we don't have to focus on the water right now, because there are people up on land that we need to take care of. But
Yeah,
sometimes the water creatures do eventually go out onto land, and that's what we call Charles Darwin's evolution theory, something, and they get kills.
That was fantastic by a Noctive. He came up, suppressor
Really
in
smart.
hand, just snuck behind Method and completely took them by surprise. But look at this, 8 teams in this and only 10 players alive. There are 2 duos and 6 solos.
And they all have to leave the water as well. This is the thing. Keen actually doing the smart thing here. He's jumping out of the water while he is sort of making sure that a Noctiv can get across as well. Ibiza, I'm not sure what his plan is here. I mean, it's going to be so tough for him to do anything. And both Pony and Keen, they've just got the water on lockdown right now. I mean, there's no way in hell that Sunbird, Taylor, or Crimson is going to get out of this alive. All they can hope for is that another team is leaving the water earlier so that they can get it. There you go, Taylor down.
Yeah, that'll be in 8th place there for Tindergold, and now it's one of those things.
7 kills for an Octave. Wow.
Yeah, he has to be feeling fantastic right now. 7 kills, 12 total kills for Avangard already. They've been out of control this game. They've just been completely out of control, and the moves here making something out of nothing. The shots towards Ibiza, he's actually taking really good shots onto a Noctiv from the rock, and he does get the knock, but is immediately traded out by Pony Rider. Can Keen get this res before Sunbird realizes?
He has been knocked twice already, so it's going to be tough for him. Rostenmar is not going to make a move. Sunbird, and when he needs to get out of the water, and he saw that the knock came in, and there you have it. And I mean, this is the exact same move that an Octave was doing before, and he got 4 kills off of it. Sunbird doing the exact same thing. Let the other teams fight each other, get the focus going their way, and get the kill. Actually, somehow, NPS gets out of the water, gets the kill onto Pony as well. So 5 people remaining. 3 solos and 1 duo being Feverish and Meter from Alliance. This is kind of interesting. Everybody kind of inside the zone, and there you go, Sunbird down as well. So NPS, the guy that proved that the water play can be good, netting himself his team, I guess I should say, guaranteed 3rd place in this game.
Yeah, so here Lion's kind of moving towards the center, using the rocks, one of the only cover, and it is high. It's the highest point in this zone, so they could maybe grab some information. Rustamar kind of hanging out. He's going to toss some... oh, no, it's a frag grenade.
No, it's a nade.
See if he can get one onto Metter here.
Don't
Cook that one a
too
little too long, if I'm not mistaken. But he does get the knock onto Metter, so now we have a 1v1v1.
And there was no counterplay from Fever coming in there. That's exciting to see. Now he gets the kill onto him. But interesting that he did not look for a counterplay earlier, because as soon as he got the knock, he knew he was going to go for the finish off. But Fever is waiting to sort of just use his teammate as bait. Got himself the kill in the end. No helmet and a level 1 vest for Fever. This is what we were talking about earlier. Positioning over loot. These guys have been sitting in the northwest compound, just outside of the ruins area, well, pretty much since Circle 2 started closing. And this is the loot that he got out of it.
The good old 1v1, rotate, rotate, rotate. Who gets behind who?
I mean, full level 3 against level 1 vest, no helmet. Statistics tell us that MBS should win this game, but again, PUBG, it's all about positioning, having the peak at the right moment, and actually kind of want to see that Fever gave up his position inside the zone and now allowed MBS to sneak his way up to the top floor. He has the upper, what do you say, the uphill advantage, the higher ground. And let's see if he can use it to his benefit. The ridge could kind of favor Fever as he starts pushing up again, but he has no clue where NPS is.
Yeah, he's very confident NPS is holding behind this rock. But that is not the case at all. NPS did rotate around and get into zone. So now Fever's going to hop in on the other side. He does have the cover here, but he has no information at all.
Yeah, he does have the rock inside the zone, and the thing is, he just killed Rust and Marp here, so he's not going to be expecting NPS to be in the exact same spot. This is going to be interesting, and NPS is going to spot Fever way before he sees him, because the grass acts funny sometimes, so if you're prone and you look in the flat ground over there, you will see the head. 9 out of 10 times you will see his face first. Wise thing from NPS, as you saw before, dropping his backpack, so that doesn't sort of pop up over the grass, but as you can see, Fever, no way you can see NPS. Question is, when is that? Like, when does I think NPS is going to be the one that's going to be forced to take this fight, like start shooting first.
Yeah, but, I would think so.
It's going to require that Fever pushes up here. Going to be interesting to see.
This is terrifying. This is one of the scariest moments in PUBG. If you're one of these players right now, the plan is to do absolutely nothing except maybe move around a little, be very quiet, and do whatever you can to spot the other player. That's your plan.
Yeah, what I could fear to see is that they both stall this out and wait for the final zone to pop. For those of you guys who don't know, when games get stalled for this long coming to the final zone, then we will have a little dot on the screen that will implement where the actual end game will be. And we'll see. We'll see what's gonna happen. I hope that a fight will be forced earlier than that, but I don't know. I mean, Fever is playing extremely safe, and MPS has no intentions of moving anywhere. So it could very well come down to the last dot on the map.
Yep, it could be one of those things. It'll be interesting to see where that goes and who that favors, and whether or not, if the final circle does pop up and it closes on that little dot, if they decide to fight to the death or try and med through it. Now, Fever, he has the rock. He's not prone. He's staying kind of up and aware and moving around, kind of teasing, looking for the player as much as he can. On the other hand, NBS has just no interest in moving. He's like, I'm going to sit here. I'm going to own this zone, because he knows if he gets up, he has no cover at all.
Yeah, if NPS had a nade, he would probably toss it already. I mean, Fever is hiding behind a smoking car. That's got to be kind of scary, right? If you could cook it and time it right, I'm not even sure that Fever could actually hear him cook the nade from that distance. So if you could time it perfectly with the amount of time that he held the grenade and the explosion hitting as soon as it lands, that could be, well, one of the better kills I've seen so far. But as you can see, Fever, no, he has level 1 vest, and he does not have, as far as I can see, any boosters either. So down to 80% HP, that could be the
helmet.
difference maker.
That's scary, man.
That's a one hit. That's a one hit with an AR right there. So,
yeah, so not a safe place to be if you're Fever. This is that moment, chat, that you all get to make your decision. Get your bets in right now and choose who you think is going to come out on top. Fever or NBS, Alliance or Crimson. NBS kind of moving in a little bit. The level 3, you have to feel good with the level 3 helmet right now. You're at full HP.
Yeah. He's
stimmed up. He's at 50% stim. That could even help him take one more shot. But how does he move forward without being spotted? That is the question. How does he move forward and stay alive? Here are the shots coming earlier from Anuctive as he took out all 4 players of Method. We have a little time here. The peak's still coming out from Fever. They're being patient and waiting for that final zone. Now the zone has popped. Where will it go? It'll actually go behind Fever. It's all the way in the corner.
Wow.
NBS has to get up.
It's kind of fair, I guess, in a way, because Fever, technically, no matter where the shots hit him, now he's down to under half HP. 1 or 2 hits should do it. Oh, down to low HP, both of them.
Oh!
1 HP, both, and it's going to be NPS with 1 HP. He gets
That
the
stressed
kill.
me out.
I think that was actually
amazing.
2 headshots from Fever. He landed 2 headshots onto NPS, and that's a level 3 helmet for you. Holy crap. So 5 kills in total. They didn't really do a lot, Crimson. They did the smart thing, sent NPS down to the water early. Unfortunately, got pinched between Avantgarde and I believe it was Liquid up there on the top of the circle here in the later stages of the game, but did manage to get the win, and they're just gonna get even further ahead now because they were already in the PUBG Online lead, and now they'll be even more so.
Yeah, I mean, Crimson's got to be feeling good. They are now the first team to grab 3 wins in PUBG Online in only 10 games, too. So that's really amazing. What we're going to do very quickly is hop right back to the desk here and join me as we lightly recap this game very quickly. Now, it was Crimson, of course, grabbing the win in one of, I will say this, arguably the worst circles I have ever seen. The way the zone split across the river so late into the game, requiring so many players to jump in the water. I mean, we talked about it before it even happened. 8 teams alive with only 10 players left. You have teams like Method playing all 4 out of water and being punished for that. It is honestly ridiculous, and it's a shame that that happens, but that is the way that the game is set up right now, so that is the current situation. So it is Crimson grabbing the win, and I think it was actually very close. I think Fever did a great job for Alliance to get that second place. Really a great 1v1 fight, waiting for that final dot, that final circle to push on top of both players. And it was huge plays coming out of Avantgarde. That was kind of the story of this game number 2. A lot of frags and an amazing, amazing play by Anuctive to clean out Method coming up from behind out of the water, being sneaky, getting it down onto Chris, and then being able to get 3 more and cleaning up all of Method there in the north. That, of course, was game number 2. It was the EU Showdown series, and we have 2 more games for you here today. When we come back, be sure to check out all the stats down below. These are, of course, the kill leaders. Avantgarde and Tinderguild tied overall with 54 total kills. That's going to get updated right now. And I think Avantgarde is definitely going to jump up on that one. You also have the individual one. Jeems took first place over Mixie from FaZe. Lockwood's still there rounding out the top 3. And Crimson Esports will update on the wins part of thing. They'll be the first team with 3 wins in only 10 games. So great job by them so far. We're going to cut to a very quick break. And when we come back, game number 3 of the EU Showdown series. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to PUBG Online. We just finished up Game 2. We have 2 more games here for you today for the EU Showdown Series, where our top 16 teams, after split number 1, are competing for their share of $20,000. You see the leaderboards right here. This, of course, is not updated after our game number 2, but it is updated after game number 1. So you kind of see these things pop and change. It's always about 1 game behind because inputting the kills for 64 different players is one person's job, and it takes a little bit. So we'll keep that updated the best you can. But you, of course, can always head to play.mainline.gg to check out those scores and the leaderboards as they're updated throughout the day. Now, so far today, oh, it looks like we're actually ready for the game already. So let's hop into game number 3 then. Back again with the name is Toby. Toby, game number 2 was a wild one.
Yeah, it was, and I don't know, I feel like I'm getting kind of cursed recently. I mean, I've been doing a lot of different tournaments, and somehow, even in situations where you're like, nah, there's no water here, it's the middle of the map, what are you talking about? Yet we we get to late game, and the water has a huge impact. What was that, 8? I think it was 10 people remaining and 8 teams. Yeah,
Yes,
that's just...
yes.
That's sad. That's sad to see. But I mean, it's part of the game, and until the day that we can sort of, that's the kind of thing where we don't want to have a, so after Circle 4, it's guaranteed there's going to be no water, because if you have that in some situations, you will always know exactly where the zone will be, like,
Right.
forced to move. So you cannot really just say no water either, because that would just be unfair to a lot of the teams. But plane coming in, Novo over George Bull, pretty much cut the plane in half diagonally, and Yasnaya, a little bit of a far run. Crimson will have to go a bit far, but Habu, happy. Vitality, Face, happy. And the teams that finally can go George Bull will be happy over there as well.
Yeah, a lot of teams, it looks like everybody's going northeast. Now, it would be so amazing, wouldn't it, Toby, if the game had a way to make a map that didn't have water on it. One day, my friend. One day.
Yeah, but where would we bring all our boats then?
That's a vital point, and I understand the argument there. Yes, you need boats. I get it. You need jet skis. You want boat fights. I understand, and they are awesome, and I do completely agree on that. But all of our teams now flying into the map. They're all looking for their little cute location to hold down for the first 5 minutes and grab up the loot. Alliance at school and
Wait,
apartments.
is Glorious
and
trying to
Rosa.
run over James? Oh, he landed
Oh,
on top
boy.
of the building. That was so. I thought he was just running for him, but yeah, Glorious and the Sam tier is actually. Piper's getting run over, so winners of last game losing one early. Pony Rider is actually going to be the guys to run him over. So Glorious and Pony both on the same team, both with the same cruel vehicle intentions. But fortunately for Sam T, he landed on the roof, and now it's going to be Saiga, or S12K as it's formerly known, against Pistol.
Yeah, this is
I
unfortunate for Sam T. Man.
Yeah, I could see who should win this fight, but I mean, it's just 2 headshots with a pistol. Sam T, can you land them
True.
before you get your heads blasted off by that one?
Well, there are the shots coming out from Glorious.
And
the
now
other question
he
is,
knows as well.
yeah, how much ammo does Glorious have here? He may only have 10 shots, 2 taken right away. So potentially this could be down to the fisticuffs at the end. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
Yeah, and Sam T doing the only wise thing here. Just get the hell out of there. There's no reason for you to do anything as far as fighting. You know what? Just to elaborate on what you were saying before, one thing that they could do, they're implementing new weapons all the time to the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why not have harpoons that spawn? And you only have one shot with them. Just harpoons. Like, you only have one. They could be like because nobody's picking up pistols anyway. Unless if you're Samty in this situation where you have no alternatives. And look at the zone, holy whack.
Oh, the dream zone. The Stalber Circle. Kameshki still safe. All the compounds still safe.
Wow.
Everything in the northeast is the place to be. Can I ask you a question? Where the hell is
course.
Liquid right now?
Well, I was gonna say they're obviously in Yasnaya, but then
Yeah.
I realized that they weren't. I mean, Samty is in the water. James is looting up by Crossroads, and Scoom is looting down south. They knew that. I think they did a smart thing here. Just to sort of elaborate on that, I think they realized, you know what? There are so many Northeast Coast heavy teams in this matchup. We're not gonna risk losing people over trying to fight, like land on vehicles before they do, and then get run over. We saw Pipers get run over by Pony. So they probably thought, might as well do Central. They've played 2 games already. You told me before, as we said before, these teams have played each other so many times in these Was it just game 11 now we're playing? Yeah, right?
This is
So
game
they
11,
know
yep.
that, yeah, so teams rarely, they will land in these areas where you see teams is now, but they will never go and loot there. They'll just go for vehicles and get the hell out of there. So what they did, instead of saying we could contest vehicles and maybe get run over and lose people early, or we could just land here and get there at some point anyway. So wise move
Interesting
on their
little
part.
split.
Only thing is that vehicles aren't really anywhere near them now, because obviously they've been taken by teams wanting to go further north, but they should be able to get up there on their feet. And there's so many vehicle spawns in these areas as well, so it shouldn't be a problem for them either way.
Yeah, absolutely. So
That's just my
Liquid
thought,
all.
yeah.
Hey, I understand it is scary, especially if you don't have a great plane, you can't fly to where you want to go. It is horrifying to drop for vehicles because everybody's doing it, and it's one of those things like, yeah, it's a 50-50. Maybe I beat them there, but maybe you don't. And if you do not, you will lose your life to a vehicle running you down. So that's why Liquid kind of spread out all over the place and not in a Yasnaya. Yasnaya, however, safe in this zone. Here we are, team number 8, Penta Sports. They're your winner of game number 1. Not a fantastic game number 2. A lot going on with the water for them. So they're kind of all moving around. Looting the farm area, actually, arguably the best area for trash loot and split looting. So many compounds so near to one another. You can really split up and get a lot here.
Yeah, the only annoying thing is, you see this compound, a lot of people call it Big White. I call it Beach House, just long explanation. But yeah, Big White, you gotta look at compounds. One thing is, oh my god, this is such a big building. Nice, they had such nice loot. But you gotta look at, one thing is the size of the compound, another thing is the actual amount of loot spawns inside the building. There are so many square meters, or square feet, I guess we say that in America, right? Inside this building, but there are only so many loot spawns. So the amount of time you spend running compared to how many loot spawns you cross, actually this is not a really good, same thing with the big apartments buildings. They're not really good buildings to loot because they take a long time, and you could loot 2 or 3 smaller buildings and get more loot potentially than you would in those type of buildings.
Absolutely. So Liquid now having the vehicles, they will rotate up right now. Team number 10 on the east there. It's great people only. They're kind of holding it down. Here we are with a little crate. What goodies are inside? An AUG, an 8X, and a level 3 helmet. Oh, grab it, James. Feels good.
I might as well give it to James. 8 WMs on Gemty and James with AUGs. That's, yeah, might as well.
Gotta feel pretty good about that.
Yeah, you gotta feel pretty solid.
Interesting
to
to
see
see
instead of
Genside,
crossbows,
though.
that's the thing.
Yeah, look at Genside right now. 3 players in prison. This is not something we see a lot at all.
No. Normally, the prison area is pretty much only used for what some people tend to call the Knight split, and that's just because Knights are one of the first teams to sort of do one guy prison, one guy mansion, one guy shelter, just kind of take control of that entire area. But with the plane going straight over there and them probably not really knowing, will we have people close, will they be far off, and they just decided to stick together. Wise move, because I mean you can't get out of prison with a ton of good loot for more than 2 players, but yeah, we'll see how this is going to favor or disfavor them in the next circles to come.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they look pretty good on loot. Look at this. Level 2 helmet, level 3 backpack. He's got double AR. Feeling pretty good if you're Falou right now. So kind of split in this area and then decided to hop into prison with one another here. Vic upstairs.
5 first days on Vic as well. I mean, this
Not
is
bad.
You're not going to complain about that. No, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I say it's a bad situation to be in, and then we see them, we're like, oh, no, they're fine. So
Never mind.
yeah, exactly. Look at Crimson, though. I want your opinion on this.
Yeah.
They're up in Stalber. Or at least some of them, if I'm not mistaken. I see 2 right
two
now.
of them. They lost Pipas real early. He got run over, remember?
Right.
And I'm not actually sure. I think they lost. I saw a guy on the kill feed just before that was taken down as well. So I think they're actually only the 2 of them left. Normally, they're the team that loots up here. They're the team that has one guy Kameshki, one guy Stalber, and the last 2 sort of go east. Like they find vehicles around Severny, and then they will just go east and go around Stalber, like down on the scenic route there, and loot up. So I mean, they're in their natural habitat. The only thing is they're down to 2 guys, and everybody's coming their way. So will they be able to hold them up? We'll have to. That's gonna be interesting to follow.
Tough, man. Stalber's really tough. His teams can approach. They can approach so easily that it's actually unbelievable because you can't keep an eye on all these sides. You can't look north, south, east, and west. It's all downhill, and it's such a large, flat area with so much cover that full teams can approach in, and Crimson may have no idea.
Fortunately for Crimson, Stalber has kind of the same effect on teams that the majority of urban areas do. The fact that you just mentioned yourself, teams can come up to you so close without you having a chance to sort of do anything about it will keep people from playing the actual, I mean, the hills around Stalber, great place, ton of good areas for squads to sit and sort of hold off, and just wait for new circles to pop and play those areas. But the actual Stalber ruins themselves, very few teams decide to go there unless if you're in circle 3 or 4 and teams are forced, like, okay, we have nowhere else to go, we'll crash into Stalber. Majority of teams not doing so. Alliance, you see now, with a pretty standard rotation. We saw FaZe doing it earlier as well, just up over Yasnaya, and surprised to see that more teams aren't sort of taking control of this area, because if you sit here with some good ARs, you can get so many rotation kills in this area of the map.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, Alliance kind of rotating back into Yasnaya here, grabbing these corners. I'm surprised they just did this. You know, they were rotating past, and I get it. It's not that bad. But why pull up, open the door, and kind of tease it a little bit? They're going to move into this apartment and maybe hold it down?
You know, I mean, you don't want to sit on the open, hold rotations. And since this is the most northeastern compound in Yasnaya, you might as well keep it. The fact of the matter is that we don't know where the circle is going to go. A lot of the compounds, they came in really late. You see the zone is almost closing, probably got 20 or 30 seconds left on it. They came in from far down south of here. They don't know where they should go, but in the meantime, we do have FaZe taking a lot of fire from the guys from Great People Only. This could be an issue for them. Mexi already taken down.
Yeah, Mexi going down right away. They're in rotation, coming right across Great People Only. A lot of shots coming out, and they did have to back off. A lot of shots on Asampula, though. He tries to peek, but the pressure is on. Gempty from behind is now rotated around behind him. And this may be huge for FaZe if he can clear this one up. He throws the frag. It looks very, very good. Sampula up on the rock. No! It's going to throw him off. He's not going to take any fall damage, though. He will live.
What?
I'm amazed there. He did get down by Fuzz,
great.
but I'm amazed that he just lived.
You're innate. No, I'm not even going to try to say that.
That
That
was
was,
good try. It was a good
yeah, I know. Yeah, that's the mystery of nades. I mean, that's what you get. You get what you expect sometimes, and sometimes it's just all random. That's what you get. And here we go. Last remaining soul of this team will decide to make a run for it. No, I guess they do still have one guy remaining in the compound down south, but yeah, he's gonna make a run for it. No reason for him to stay around here. Squeak. How are you gonna? Is it
I just say
squeaky?
skew. I literally just say skew. I've given up on trying to pronounce this. You know,
Couldn't
I'm
it
from New
be
Jersey.
squeak?
This is not something I can do.
Couldn't it be squeaky?
It could be squeaky.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just with like a Norwegian spelling, but squeaky. That's gonna be his name from now on. I'm gonna call him Squeaky.
All right, squeaky. We're calling. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a message after this, and it's gonna be like, it is not
You
squeaky.
know what? I get them all the time. Every time
Yeah.
I cast Russian games, I get 10 DMs like, "No, you're pronouncing it wrong." Oh, come on, give me a break, man. But
All right,
so
chat,
once
if you have
again,
any ideas,
north.
let us know.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is brutally up to the north.
And look at the amount of open field in the northern route there. Look at all the rotations coming in as well. Cover Magic trying to fight up against Liquid, kind of letting the guys from Vitality just push through here.
Yeah, absolutely, a lot of shots coming out from Penta right now as they're cruising by. You see Araxe flying by on the bike. Hard to hit, tough shots to take. Cup of Magic looking for them. Does connect with one, but it will not be enough. It looks like Araxe will escape with his life. A minute and 30 seconds till the new zone completely closes here. And, like, look at this. This is up north, man. Like, this is a tough travel for a lot of these players. Now Crimson has to worry because they're still in Stalber, and Method's going to pull right up to it. They may have no idea if a team pulls in here.
This is the point at which people start committing to areas like, what?
Oh, feels bad.
Aww, Vic, why you do this? I'm glad that we got to see it on camera, just to sort of
just pulled up
get
right
a
away.
more
Just,
virtual
he's dead.
reality, virtual reality view of what it looks like when you get run over by a jeep.
That's upsetting.
And
And Falou will go
people-
clean this one up, grab the rewards. No, Vic will take the shots. He'll jump up and clean up his own kill. I like that. After running him
makes
down.
sense.
And, you know, it's kind of unfortunate, but that's what happens. Andrea from Genside under a lot of pressure right now from Vitality. Ziggin and Zaggin trying to stay safe, but will go down. And that will be it. Easy cleaned up kill for Vitality. A couple early points for them.
And that's the pay, right? You run a guy over, you lose a guy in return. I mean, that's just karma for you right there.
Yep, 100%.
Minox in between 3 teams now. I'm not sure where he's planning on going, but for the time being, he is alive. Still on the. He's not even on the vehicle anymore. Forced off. Now he's just gonna prone bite, and there you go. Finished off by Ultra. Not really anything he could do there. But yeah, it's still a lot of the northern compounds available, and you would think, why are people not going for them? Issue being, if they have to push away from there, it's all uphill. And the guy sitting in the uphill position is 9 out of 10 times going to have the upper hand, like the advantage. So it's going to be really tough for anyone trying to push out of those compounds. So unless if we get the zones pushing even further north the next, I don't know how many times in a row, it's going to be tough for any of these guys wanting to commit to those North Road compounds.
I do have to say, though, you know, they talked about reducing the hard shifts here, but these circles today have been absolutely brutal. They have been ruthless to these players, Toby. And Uter is kind of bumping brakes go there. It's a little dangerous. You know, you don't want those vehicles touching. You never know what's going to happen. Are they just bumper carring each other right now?
That could be a strategy. I don't see it used very often, but I guess it is a strategy. With that being said, Rustenmar taking down couple Magics. So as they were driving around, being baboons in Tivoli, they lost a teammate in doing so.
Absolutely. Ultra taking some shots in that direction. This is a great spot to be if you're Diamond Dogs right now. They're up on top of the hill. A lot of vehicles have to rotate in. They can take a lot of shots, and that's why they've kind of been reaping the benefits here. They've grabbed 2 kills on this first rotation.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good position to sit in there in the corner of the zone. Outside that they probably won't have the next zone to their favor, but they're in a position at which they can easily rotate away from. They have their vehicles, I would assume, quite at hand, but a lot of teams are going to be playing this, like the bottom parts of these hillside areas up by Stalber if the zone does shift in that direction, and it's going to be really tough for them to get anywhere close there because they will be forced to leave their vehicles once they get to the bottom part of the hillside. And pushing up from there with no vehicles and no cover, it's just gonna be hell. So people already committing to the hillsides, as you can see now. The new zone is gonna pop momentarily, and where it's gonna go could very well determine the outcome of this game.
Yeah, absolutely. Some shots of vitality on team number 3. Quick math as they try to move up. Reaper points is down by Monkey. You see Tixu here trying to cruise around. He's using the UAZ. He's trying to get away, trying to back off this fight. Reaper will be killed off easily here by Vitality. They grab another kill on some rotating players. Shiv on the other side taking some shots down towards, if I'm not mistaken, Bikini Model, who is on the rotate as well. And Vitality going to move up the eastern side here. And now the new zone has popped, and this one goes west.
And it's actually kind of favor the guys out there on the west coast. Fortunate for them, won't be forced up the hillside, at least not yet. But look at the amount. I mean, you see this area and like, oh, there's no water. There's so many easy entry points to this zone. But you gotta take into the fact that this is all hillsides. Where you see teams positioned, Alliance and the guys who saw Vitality just before, they're sitting at the only places where you can get uphill and keep your car. And that's what teams are trying to do. We saw Quickmat losing a guy in doing so. And I'm surprised to see that we haven't lost a single team yet, actually.
That's been pretty good so far. Still 16 teams alive. Another tough rotation for all these teams in the East. Look at Havu. They're like, all right, we don't even need to be anywhere safe. We're going to go out into the blue. We're going to cruise around. Nookie here pulling up on team number 6, House of Nobles. He's going to try and stop, and he does, but just outside. If Botsman gets to the window, he can punish the wrong one, though, and Nookie can cruise in. Ooh, he almost had a cheeky little angle there, but there's Botsman taking a shot onto Nookie. You got to be pretty terrified if you're him now.
Yeah, I'm not sure why I decided to jump off. I think he caught the majority of those guys reloading because it didn't look to me like he was taking fire. But now Botsman, he's just around the corner. He didn't get his first aid off.
Oh,
he did not get it off, and there you go, taken down. I'm not sure what happened there. If he canceled it because he heard Botsman coming close, or if it bugged out. I've had some issues with the first aids recently as well, bugging when you try to get them going. But here we see the guys from Ervengar, all guys on their feet, still knocked up, just bringing a vehicle up here. You see areas like these. I mean, these areas you only find by playing the game a lot.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
the areas that you don't see them on the map. You don't see them anywhere. It's like you gotta know every single place of the map in this circle. Where will we have the best position? Because if you don't, then you're gonna lose those games where the other team had the better position. And that just goes to show the dedication of these competitive guys. They know literally every single rock everywhere on the map.
Well, it's like crazy to see because you know, you have all these players. Look at, I mean, Avagar's dead center circle, and you look at the map and you could see all the different compounds that you hold, and you're like, all right, you know, you got to go get a compound and hold it. But these players, they have all these other things marked on the map that are things they can use as compounds, right? It's defilade and rock formations that create a safe location to hold where they can get information. Jempty here does get a knock onto Squeaky, and then he is killed off But look at this. A couple teams getting pretty close to one another. Havu and Team Symphony very close. I don't really mind. Takes a lot of shots and does go down.
Yeah, Pony's had a good day so far. We've seen him on the kill feed quite a few times up in this game. Havu, they just heard them shooting, and this could actually be their downfall because they shot towards I don't really mind, and now they're going to be pushing straight up towards Sam, who's obviously expecting them to come from down there.
Yep, and here you see Samty looking. He spots out a couple, takes the shots. 2 different targets though. Cannot decide on which one would be better. These teams are getting very close to one another. It's Liquid and Team Symphony right on top of each other at this point. Liquid does have the benefit of the uphill portion, and they're a little bit more in zone, if you will, for the most part. But there is one player wrapping around. It's Glorious, looking for an angle. Samty now right on top of him. They're really close to one another. We'll see who gets the shots out first. Not sure if Samty even knows that there's a player below him. Looking for shots on Pony Rider. Does not get the down yet. Does finally. And here comes Glorious from behind. Oh, that was a close one. Samty not even taking any damage there, though.
Yeah, gets pushed around the back. Fortunately for him, the rock formation played in his favor. And he got the AK out. Now it's just really deadly weapon up close. There you go. Help comes in. Actually, it's gonna be Ibiza with the knock onto Glory. Glorious is gonna be taken down as well. So Nilos all by himself now. No, he does have Dodo on card alongside him. So 2 guys forced to make a run for it, and there you have it, taking down Alliance in the meantime, and Vitality squaring off against one another. And that's going to be Alliance finished off by Vitality there.
Yeah, and now look at this. They only have 1 player up, and Havu's pushing up onto this fight right now. They may be able to clean up all of Vitality as 1 player. It's Shiv. He gets the res onto Shadow, so now we're back to a 2v2. Monkey is still down. They may be able to capitalize on this. I think Jorsky just spotted him out there during that jump that he made. Yeah, so Shiv has been spotted, and Havu now has the idea. But there's a full team Liquid coming up from behind.
Yeah, the fact of the matter is, we talked about this earlier before as well. These guys are fighting way out in the outskirts, and they need to take these fights because, I mean, they need to clear their edges so that they don't get pushed from the sides. But there's only 20 seconds till the zone is going to be pushing in. They're going to be running and shooting and running and shooting. Fortunately, for those of you guys who don't know, circles in the competitive scene, one of the major factors here is that they can close in slower, and that can benefit you so you don't have to run all the time, but you can shoot as well. But Havaki there, getting his teammate knocked. Jorsky going to be finished off, and now he's going to be all by himself as well.
Yeah, between Liquid and Vitality kind of rotating up to the north, getting out of this one. They realize they need to back out of the fight and get into the zone. Liquid on the move as well. So Havaki all alone for Havu. He'll have to try and sneak in here as the blue is now past him, and he's taking some damage. But look at this zone. They're all going to have to run up there.
Water.
It's Flix. It's team number 6. It's House of Nobles. Yeah, nobody in the water yet, but don't jinx it. Method and FaZe now in a fight as Fake and Chris are both down already. FaZe being aggressive here as the updated leaderboards have now popped up, taking some shots over, and Andy's under a lot of pressure behind the vehicle, takes a ton of damage and will go down. And that is it for Method, cleaned up by FaZe.
Yeah, have not had the best day today, and goes down in 11th place there. And Octave now taken down as well. They had a good position before, and now they're getting pushed on by the guys from Diamond Dogs. Let's see if they can hold them off. They do have the Rich and the Hillside here working in their favor, but can they hold them up? Ultra has been knocked already. Tummel and Rustenmar, though, not so much.
Yeah, Diamond Dogs under a lot of pressure here. They're in the zone, they're safe, but can they set up, get the res off, and keep these 3 players up and alive with all this pressure coming from Avangard? You see Keen kind of peeking over, and Tom will take the shot, puts the pressure on, and actually gets a knock on the dies. So that is huge. Avangard kind of on their back foot now. They need to take a step back, they need to get a res, and they need to be a little more patient. But Diamond Dog's going to use his opportunity, push up, throw some frags in, and see if they can get another. Those may be good. Oh, just short on those.
There you go, Rich working in their favor. Rustenmar, though, on the push now, moving straight up towards Keen. Actually knocked by Mumino over the top side of the hill there. Mumino goes down in return. Keen gets the second knock as well. It's going to be 1v1 now. Who's going to win this fight? Is it going to be Tummel or is it going to be Keen? Keen is getting pushed now from behind as well. It's going to be Liquid. They're taking out those guys. Also, Dudo and Needless, they're going to be pushing in as the zone comes closer. So Tummel is in a hell of a terrible position now. Whereas to Keen, he can just slowly get the rest up on his teammates.
Yeah, the best thing for Tummel right now is they need team number 16, Team Symphony needs to keep rotating to the west as Liquid taking shots at Avangard. Let that fight happen if you're Tummel. Be patient. You hear the gunshots coming out. Take your time. Keen is down. Mumino under a lot of pressure behind a blown-up Dacia. But look at Liquid. They're getting the angles. They're taking the shots. Keen's going to try and get res here by Dies. Rustenmar may even make it back to Tummel.
Yeah, really good pinch plays coming in from Liquid, kind of just isolating these guys. But the fact of the matter is, the more time they spend shooting the guys in this direction, the more they'll need to be concerned with what's going on behind them. You see Mumino, no helmet, no vest. This is not going to be easy. Mexi and the guys from Tentacle squaring off against one another on the other side of the map there as well. A lot of fights coming in, and we only have 25 players remaining.
Yeah, this is going by very, very quickly. The new zone pop that's going to the southeast is kind of pulling towards all of these fights. These players will not have to move much. Can Mumino stay alive here? Can he lend support to Avangar and wait for FaZe, who's actually coming down onto Tindergold, and then potentially pushing onto Liquid? That may be a savior here for Avangar. All these teams in the southeast, and there's just a huge void of space in the middle of the zone.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you take a look at the map and sort of put into percentage as to where, I mean, Crimson, they're pretty much taking up half the zone, if not the majority, like almost the entire zone. 2 people just split off. I just, we'll let them fight and just play it chill here. I mean, this is the best thing you can hope for when you're outnumbered. Just let all the other teams fight, because odds are they'll be coming into the later stages with fewer people as well. Very, very rarely do we see a team come into the very late game with 4 people still alive. So all Crimson can hope for right now is let all these guys fight things off and come into the zone. And maybe, if we're lucky, we can let ourselves win out that way.
Yeah, so Avangar spotted out some players from Team Symphony there. They're looking for the information, looking to take the shots. Team Symphony can't even keep moving, though, because team number 6, House of Nobles, is down there, so they're going to try and rotate. Uderme Fire just prone here on the west. How do you get out all of these players right on top of the zone? It's now going to start moving in and putting the pressure on all of these fights to continue. Team number 1, Diamond Dogs, they will have to move. They do not have a choice. They need to move past Avangar. Liquid's waiting for Avangar to move. We have the one player from Tindergold, team number 4, all the way on the right of the minimap. You see him waiting for Team Liquid, and then all the way at the end, it's FaZe with 4 man up on the eastern side. So everyone's going to start moving into the zone now. Downhill we go. The shots should start coming.
Yeah, and this is kind of the reason that we see so many teams sitting up here, is you're just saying yourself, this is the only flat ground, or flat-ish ground, that we have on the entire map. Everything from here towards the northern part of the zone is just downhill, and you don't want to push downhill. It's just... There's no upside to that. Oh, Rostenmar gets the push onto Keen, not expecting this at all. I'd probably hope that all the guys will be dead at this point. Mumino taken down by Rostenmar as well. Will he get the third and completely eliminate the guys from Avangar? Nope, not gonna get the knock onto these. Will he actually, will he be able to stay alive? Nope, he will not. Temel gets the finish up, and that's gonna be Avangar out in 9th place.
That is huge for Diamond Dogs right there. They were down to 1 player at one point. It was Tommel all alone. Rusmar was able to get back and res. And then Avangar seems to have forgot about them. They push up. Yep. Rustinmar gets 2 knocks. Tommel wrapping around the right side is able to clean it up and finish off Avangar, getting them out in 9th. FaZe has moved towards center circle, and so is team number 6, House of Nobles, in the new zone going west. How is this no hardships? Every single one has gone to one side. Every single zone so far.
It's pretty damn insane. And the worst thing about this zone is that you can see Lockwood, he's sitting in the corner. You could count on 2 hands how many trees are going to be inside this zone. And everything else is just going to be, well, yeah, open fields and downhill. So not going to be easy. Hack spotting Mopsy's vehicle down there, kind of giving him an idea as to where he might be sitting. But of course, can't be sure in that faction. Now you heard the shots coming in as well, so it has a pretty clear idea of what's going on down there. They will be forced to make a move though. FaZe still 4 people alive coming into this game. There are only 17 people remaining, so got a good upper hand position, but they're also House of Nobles, 4 guys, and they're inside the zone already, so could benefit them even more. We'll see how FaZe do decide to push this zone. 15 seconds to go, and they're forced to do something here.
Yeah, FaZe, they're going to have to move in at some point. Still 4 men strong, like you said. They have to be feeling pretty good, but they know there's a bunch of players down here. Liquid deciding to go on the other side. You see Samty and Ibiza and Scoom all still kind of where they were, moving in very slowly, kind of taking the short side in. Tommel is killed off, and that'll be Diamond Dogs in 7th place at the end of this game. They're going to move on to the 2 players of Team Symphony. You see Dodo going down right away. It's now all up to Nellas as Team Liquid moves in, and they're going to try and rotate in. And honestly, if they get in the zone from this angle, they're in a decent spot.
Oh yeah, they have the upper hand. They got pretty much the only area of the new zone that allows them to stay behind trees, and also they do have a vehicle. You see Scoom got the vehicle moving downhill. He knows the importance. If they do end up in an area where there won't be vehicles available, it's going to be helpful for them. But he was actually decides to take the shots. I would expect him not to, but decides to take the shots out of the zone now. And yeah, this is not easy for him. He's down to 1 HP, and there you go, finished off by Sunbird. No, by Scoom there. I'm not sure exactly. Maybe he got a little trigger happy. I know that for myself. It's a bad disease to have.
Yeah, it
Do you
absolutely
suffer
happens.
from trigger happiness too?
Yeah, I mean, you know, if somebody runs by me and I'm prone, I'm taking the shots 100% of the time. But FaZe, still 3-man up, 1 man is down. Fuzzface has to worry about Martin from Tindergold behind. It looks like he is not aware of this. Martin's going to take his time. He's going to move very slowly. See if he can put the damage out onto FaZe. If I'm not mistaken, up in the north, we still have House of Nobles alive. So we have Liquid, we have FaZe, we have 1 player from Tindergold, all of House of Nobles, and then there is a cheeky little solo here somewhere. If I'm not mistaken, it's still Lockwood in the bush.
Yep, he's been sitting there for quite a while, and he's still inside the zone. Good thing for Martin right now is that FaZe, they have, parentheses, cleared this entire area.
Nice.
Oh, nice nades coming in towards Samty there. They've cleared the entire area, and now it's going to be Scoom all by himself. So they're not going to be expecting more people to be up the top of that hill. Scoom just hiding down behind this tree. It's kind of annoying that when you're prone in the grass, you can only look so far up, which could actually be the death of him. But we'll see when he comes around the tree. He gets spotted by Mexi, and there you have it, taken down. So Liquid finishing off in 5th place.
Yeah, absolutely. So FaZe now have a really good dominating position in the zone. They're going to get the res that they need, get the team together, and get ready for House of Nobles and their push. They're the other 4-man still alive. 2 4-mans, 2 solos in this game. Tindergold and Crimson, their hope still alive.
Yeah, look at Crimson. I'm not sure what his plan is here. I mean, I think all he can do now, either push up west or left side of the hill, which would probably be his death because it's pretty open and you can only run so fast uphill. I guess what he could do right now, I mean, he has to go leave there eventually, right? Only 20 seconds to go. Just run up kind of directly behind your opponents here. Mopsy and Flex, just go up straight behind them. There's no way they're looking behind them. They've been sitting down here for the last 3 circles. They're not expecting people to be down by them. So run up alongside them, and then whenever they start fighting, shoot them in the back. That's also Flex is not pushing his straight. He's pretty much standing on top of Martin, and
Wait,
there you go.
What just happened? We lost another player. Mobsy ran out into the play zone and died, and is now crawling away.
Did he DC?
It looks like we may have had 2 players DC there. Shots are coming out from Martin onto FaZe, but he will be killed off. What just happened?
They had 4 guys alive, lose 1 guy because he ran up the hill. I mean, I'm not sure if that was a DC or what it was, but and then you lose 1 guy to a DC like that. That's and at this stage of the game too, now they're down to 1 guy as well. Actually, Crimson could very well get 2nd place in this game. I mean, in order for Sunbird and Crimson to eliminate FaZe, they would need to get at least 2 knocks and, I don't know, somehow magically work together, and yep, that's not going to happen. So Crimson...
What? I'm
probably
so confused, Toby.
Lockwood DDoSing House of Nobles computers, and it worked to his favor.
There's Lockwood with the next level 200 IQ plays. He's now going to prone into the zone. The 1v4 against FaZe. If you ever wanted to be in a 1v4, why not have it against FaZe here at the end of game number 3 of PUBG Online Showdown series. Just a little bit of excitement here. Crimson, they're already in 1st overall. Now they will finish with at least a 2nd place. Lockwood just chilling. Will you die to the zone, my friend? And he will die to the zone.
Yeah, actually.
FaZe not getting the kill. FaZe grabbing 1st place in game number 3.
They did get 14 kills though, so I think they're satisfied with that.
I'm sure they're all right.
Crimson 0 kills, 2nd place. That's solid performance. I mean,
Next
not
level.
gonna lie, that is. They lost. They were the first team to Pipe has died instantly as soon as he landed. Got run over by Pony Rider. And I mean, that's just good play by them. And in the end, people tend to forget that. Oh my God, why are they playing in the water? Oh my God, why are they hiding so much? People tend to forget it. In the end, I mean, this is a survival game. It's not the winners aren't always the ones that
Very true.
get the most kills. The winners are most often the ones that wins the most games. And Crimson, if you can stay consistently within, I would say, top 5 or 6 in these type of tournaments, like always get top 6 or above placements, then it doesn't matter how many kills you get. You're always going to be in like a top 3 overall, because it's really hard for teams to stay consistent. This is what we see with FaZe. Other than the fact that, as you can see here, they're extremely good shooters, their ability to always make it to late game, it's just, yeah, it's really impressive. And,
absolutely. Toby, thank you for joining me for game 3. I will be back with you for game number 4. We're going to kick it back to myself on the desk, all by my wonderful lonesome here today. Game number 3 ends, and it is FaZe Clan grabbing the win. A wild zone, a wild finish, and some questions left unanswered on what exactly the hell happened to House of Nobles there at the end of that game. I'm sure we'll all be looking into the chat and trying to figure out what just went on. But it was FaZe Clan coming out on top. It was a great performance by them. They were not in the most optimal position there. We saw them on the eastern side a little bit early with about 6 or 7 teams left. And it was, how does FaZe Clan push into this zone? How do they get in safely? And they decided to wrap around the south, push around all those teams that we saw fighting for so long and clean them up along the way. And then grabbing a dominating spot in the zone. On top of that, Lockwood from Team Crimson Esports, doing a fantastic job, becoming the Bush, being one with the terrain on a just absolute next level, not having to move for roughly 15 minutes, and then moving into the zone and grabbing a second place. We have one more game here today. Now, someone in chat pointed out to me that the leaderboard wasn't updated when I said it was. They were correct. Now it is. There you see it. So my apologies for saying that. I was incorrect. On top of that, we have everything down below. You see Avangard, 66 total kills as a team. They're grabbing that first place spot in total kill count. Doing fantastic after 10 games, that is. So averaging 6.6 kills per game is pretty wild. Now we have one more game here for the EU Showdown series. What we're going to do is we're going to jump to a very quick break. And when we come back, I will hop right back in to game number 4 with The Name is Toby. Welcome back once again to PUBG Online, the EU Showdown series right here on twitch.tv/PUBGOnline. My name is Jabroni Mac. We just finished game number 3. One more game to go today for our EU players. Now, let's get a quick recap of exactly what has happened so far. Game number 1 went to Penta Sports. All 4 men still alive at the end of that game, looking really good on the northeastern circle that we had. Game number 2 belonged to Crimson Esports, and arguably one of the most annoying and obnoxious water circles I have ever seen. Great plays coming out from a Nuctive of Avangar in that game, looking fantastic. Avangar actually racking up the kills. They are your current leader in total kill count, as you can see right below me, with 66 kills over 11 games. So looking really good. On top of that, game number 3 belonged to FaZe Clan. A little bit of an iffy situation at the end of that one. According to the players, on what we know there, we did lose 3 players from House of Nobles at the exact same time to a game freeze. So that's kind of unfortunate. But once again, we're going to be joined by the sauce boss himself, the legend, Mustache Dave, our on-field reporter today. Dave, can you hear me, my friend?
Yep.
Look at this guy. This is fantastic. We're kicking it over live from the field with Mustache Dave. There you are, the pregame lobby. All the players kind of lining up, getting ready to go. What's it like out there, my friend?
It's feeling good. The tension is there, especially after this previous game we had. Hashtag FaZe up. FaZe just coming out here, destroying everybody, destroying Method, destroying Liquid. These guys are all on fire, Jabroni.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. FaZe looking fantastic in that game. Is there kind of a little bit of a fear there in the pregame as we had the players run around? Are they all worried about running into FaZe here in the final game of the day?
I mean, nobody wants to run into FaZe because we kind of saw what happened last game, and word on the street is we got some DDoS going on as well. House of Noble feels bad, man. Feels bad. I'm talking to you, Toby. I'm talking to you, Toby.
Yeah, accusing Toby there. I like it, Dave. I like it.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
I mean, you got me out here running around trying to get these interviews with all these hard shifts, man. When can I sit in the office with you, with the AC? Come on,
you know
man.
what?
Come on.
What's up with the shifts today, Dave?
Man.
I mean, I've seen the tweets. There's supposed to be less hard shifts. What is going on out there?
You know what? Nobody really knows. That's just the beauty of it. Hard shifts 2018, Jabroni. You heard it here first.
Hard shifts 2018, indeed. Dave, stay safe out there in game number 4. Try to avoid the bullets as they're flying by and our teams are fighting for it. But it is now that time. The plane is about to come out and be on its way. So I'll be joined, of course, once again, by the name is Toby here to bring you all the action. Toby, a rough game 3, a brutal game 3, if you will.
It was a tough one. I mean, when the end game comes to a hillside, the way it did here, it's always just gonna be. You can't even predict stuff like that. It's just, yeah, it's rough, as you said it yourself. It's a tough situation, and of course it was me, obviously, that DDoSed all the guys from House of Nobles because I really wanted FaZe to win that game. So yeah, just yeah, because as everyone know, I'm a big fanboy of one team, and I'm not at all. I'm a really biased caster. So.
Yeah, you are. I mean, I've casted with you for all of 2 hours. Yeah. And I already know that you're arguably the most biased person ever, and I know that you.
The reason that I wasn't allowed to come to the studio was because I had like FaZe tattooed in my forehead, and you thought, I mean, that might be not so good. So yeah.
Seems
so
a
we
little
should not
unfair.
have you here.
Seems a little unfair.
Exactly.
But the plane did come down north to south. All our players jumping out. They're heading to the east, most of them, because it was favoriting the western side there on that flight path. So a lot of players jumping out. Could have a little bit of a vehicle arms race here.
Oh, you see, the revenge is actually kind of coming in now. Now it's going to be NBS that's going to AFK drop in the water. I think Harwood, they just installed the same programs as Lockwood was sitting with just before, and now they're getting their revenge. That's, yeah. With that being said, though, as you said yourself, plane coming in, a lot of teams going crossroads, and this is what we saw Liquid sort of doing the smart thing of avoiding last game. So fortunately for Mexi, they're landing close. They found 2 vehicles practically on top of each other. But Kojuri and Meter, not so much. They're going to be squaring up against, or like pretty much around the exact same garage building.
Yeah, and you know, you got to feel good when you drop down and your team grabs 2 vehicles right off the bat. Now, Meter, obviously the window's broken there. Kojuri kind of pushing in a little bit, teasing it. So Meter's going to try and wrap around the outside, see if he can get some shots. He does spot him out, takes some long, ambitious, pumpy shots. Does connect for a little bit of damage.
Yeah, odds not really favoring his chances of hitting those shots, even though his sight could be right on the guy. Yeah, I mean, he knows that he had like M16 because he heard the shots coming his way, and right now he's actually doing the smart thing. Just get away from there. I mean, there's no way you have a shotgun. You could force a really close fight, but don't. There's no reason to contest these things. Might as well just go elsewhere, loot up. You can see he's kind of looting his way out of the area, and that's the smarter thing to do. He does have teammates close in the zone. Finally, we're going west.
What's up? I mean, we've had a lot of northern circles today, Toby.
Yeah,
We have not been
that is
down south of the water yet.
No, I mean that's it could very well still do so, but I have yet to see a Sarky end game, and that's what I've been hoping for all my
dream.
1,000. Yeah, I mean I think I've had end games everywhere in this game so far, except
Yeah,
for
it's just
Sarky.
one of those things. It's just one of those things. Like, I've tried to get north of Kameshki, you know. It's just never going to happen. You know, you just gotta, be like, oh, all right, I give up. You know, I was close a
Maybe
couple
with the
times.
hard shift stuff that's going on lately, we will
That's
hit.
true.
Like
Now that they fixed the hard shifts, we could end up in Zarki more often. Confirmed.
maybe. Could be. But with that being said, though, Meter still surprisingly to me in this area will actually destroy the window, and he should just be running over towards his teammates. Yep, that's exactly what he's going to be doing. Or is it now? Nope, he's actually contesting this. Now I got hiccups as well. This is bad. Actually contesting this, or I can't really tell what he's planning on. Nope, he's running back. Wise move.
So
I
here's
would be
my
surprised to see
fear.
him,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, without a helmet there, you don't ever
Mm-hmm.
want to take a fight. I mean, it's just one of those situations, like we've seen it time and time again, that if you don't have a helmet and one AK, one M16 shot connects to the head, that's it. You're done. And it doesn't.
Exactly.
It is just something that you cannot fight. You cannot peek. And in that situation, Metter's like, all right, you know, I have a gun. I have an M16. I have a pumpy shotgun. I can take some shots. I can put the damage out. But if someone gets the drop on me, I may have no time to respond. And that's why you really need to back up. You need to get back to the team. Rozhawk has plenty of loot in this situation, 1.5 ARs. He should be okay over there, especially when you get School on top of that if you're Alliance.
Yeah, exactly. And there was no teammates close to him that could come in for the retaliation. I mean, so there's in the end wise move. I was surprised to see him hold those ankles for so long, but I guess it was just sort of a make sure that he wasn't gonna shoot me in the back while I was running off, and did the wide move. Ended up skating out of there alive, and Mopsy, as we see here, just looting out the area at which Tindergold and Liquid squared off in game 1, and there you have it. Should be able to get some loot going for himself. He is well in the safe area up here and should be able to get some good loot.
Yeah, should be no problem at all. He's going to back off now. See, it's interesting. A lot of these players now opting to kind of split loot. I feel like every game, Toby, this compound holds one player. It's like becoming so consistent.
It is for 3 reasons, I believe, especially when you have a northern zone. First of all, a lot of teams rotate, if not straight over this compound, then just south of it. So if you can see, you see the entire field, like the entire area north of Yasnaya over the lake. If you sit up there with 2 guys with ARs, you can get, well, 3 to 4 kills depending on the rotations and how people do come in to the circles. If you can just sit up by the trees up there, you can, like, there's always guaranteed at least 1 or 2 teams that are going to come through that direction, especially if the zone shifts as far northwest as they have this time around, because people are too scared to take the bridges, and they will all come over either this way or take the long route all the way up north of Stalber around that direction. So have one guy up there early on, both for rotation purposes, but also just to kind of scout the area. I mean, from there you can see how many teams come from the east in towards the zone, so you will know how many teams, because if you're already inside the zone, you're very rarely gonna go out to the edge and sit out there. You're gonna find a central compound or even further west compound. So most of the time it's teams that come in late that are gonna sit on the edge and wait for other teams that come in late, right? So if you're in there even earlier than that, then you'll be able to sort of just kind of know how many teams are playing the edge and what you can expect moving further into the center of the zone.
Yep, here we are with Avangar. They've been the owners of North George so far in the EU Showdown series. You know, there's always a team that gets North Georgia Pole. There's always a team that gets South Georgia Pole, and it is Avangar here. They laid claim to North George very early, and they have not been contested nearly at all up in this area. Very clean looting phases for them so far, and that's why they're doing so well. Holding down one of the top spots on the leaderboard, one of the only teams with 2 wins so far, and, of course, our kill leaders in the Showdown series thus far. On top of that, down in South George, we're going to have a couple teams that are going to have to make way across the bridges, and that is the fear that we just talked about. Team number 1, you see Diamond Dogs right here. You see Ultra. Tommel and the rest all split. Rust and Mar, they grab South George, the priority buildings that these competitive players love so very much.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny with both South and North George, actually. So many teams like to loot the areas. We have Kinguin loving to loot up there. G2 for a while looted up there. TSM, we know that they've liked to loot Northern George for quite a while. And somehow, I don't know why, but I just see George Bull as one of the cities where very few teams actually end up fighting one another. Despite so many teams liking to go there, it's as if they always kind of get out of there without a fight. And I mean, they'll fight elsewhere and on rotations, but in the city of George Bull, there are just so many other cities where fights kind of go off way more than George Bull.
You know what's very interesting about that? I'm 100% in the exact same boat, and that's why we had such a weird situation in NA during our Showdown series. You know, one team has always been South George for all of eternity in NA, and that's Team Envious. And all of a sudden, 2 weeks ago, they're joined by another team, and now it's like this South George competition where they're switching and they're flopping back and forth, game in and game out. And I've never seen it before because it's always been somebody drops here and everybody else go away. But now it's like this crazy contention. It's really a sight to see. It's something that we definitely have not seen much of in competitive PUBG.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of fun, but I guess we're still kind of figuring out the way this game should be played and all. I mean, not the way the game should play, but more of a sort of the gentleman's agreement on where can people drop and where can't they. And then when you have teams that just come out of nowhere and be like, you know what? I don't care that FaZe drops multi-power. I'll go multi-power. We had that in, I believe it was the PGL tournament where one of the Chinese teams, some people called it hot dropping another team, but I mean, you cannot claim a place. You can fight for it and maybe you'll get it, maybe you won't. But there's sort of a whole thing where, oh my god, it's bad sport to hot drop other teams. I'm more like, you know what? If you want it to be, like, if you want to claim this area to your own, at least you should be able to defend it, because odds are you have practiced that area more, so you should be able to pick fights there. And they should work in your favor. So why be upset that you could potentially get 3 or 4 kills there?
Yeah, I mean, that is 100% the name of the game, is if you want to own a spot, you better kill everyone when they try and compete for it time and time again. Havu here setting up in my favorite compound on the entire map. I think it's one of the strongest spots to be, especially in the late game. Yes, 100%. I love this place. I think it is arguably the easiest hold on the map if you are set up, especially in the late game, because there's just no way to approach this safely.
Yeah, it's one of the easiest holds, but as we said before, I think it was between games here, the places that are normally one of the easiest holds are also most often one of the hardest escapes.
Yes,
I mean, if you have a late game here, and people obviously will take out the wheels of your vehicle if you didn't get them into the garage, how in the hell do you get out of there? Oh my god, look at that crate.
That's the best crate of all time.
8 times and a level 3. Yeah, pretty much. I'm not even gonna lie, that is a
It comes with the extended quick draw, and that's what makes it just so amazing. Like, yeah, now I don't even have to reload. I can shoot you 7 times instead of 5. And the level 3 helmet. And the 8, that's the full sniper package right there. Who is this? Oh, it's Andy. Oh, Andy. Feels good, Andy. Feels good.
Method haven't been having the best of games today, and this is just Mr. Unknown himself saying, you know what, Andy, I'll get you an AWM. He already had a level 3 helmet, so that's going to be a level 3 helmet for one of his teammates.
And a level 3 vest. What a wow!
Yeah,
you got to be feeling good if you're
and
a suppressed AWM. What? He's kidded. He's kidded out of his mind.
If Andy goes down early in this game, then yeah, that would be unfortunate. I mean, he has the tools now to stay alive for at least a while, right? So we'll see. Yeah. We'll have to pay attention to what Andy's going to do. But look at the rotations. I called this. The amount of rotations coming in over Northern Yasnaya. I had the people stayed up there to just take out people. Look at the amount of kills they could have had with all these people coming in vehicles. FaZe actually going over the bridge. That's kind of surprising to see. But we saw it opposing in the last, 2 games ago. A lot of the teams committed south and then didn't go north before they were forced to. Now all the teams pretty much go north of the water, expecting the zone to go up there.
This is a really bold push by FaZe that we do not see from them very frequently. They play the blue, and they're very patient in their rotations, but in this game, they are pushing in very, very far here, past other squads, past Crimson. They pass team number 6, House of Nobles. They're cruising in. It looks like they're actually opting for more of a center position here in our final game.
Yeah, I mean, it could be in the, oh my god, it's actually going to be Georgia Pole, Everest. We got the river again, splitting up pretty much like, I always compare these things to Pokeballs. I don't know why. They're just a perfect example of that line going through the middle of everything. But yeah, Minox now making Live a living hell for Gen's side as they bounce out to the water. Rare, the only guy on his feet right now, as the rest are coming in as well. Not sure exactly what their plan is. They do have a Rich there, though.
Oh, Eggydorp did go down. He got rezzed, and now he's down again. In a lot of trouble. The shot's coming out. It looks like he may not be able to survive this one. It's Kaz from range taking out Eggydorp for Genside. So 1 kill, 1 lost player. Was that with a 2x? Not bad, Kaz. Not bad.
I mean, he had the info. He had the info from Menox that the guys were sitting down there, and just as much as that Rich gave them a little bit of an upper hand position down there against Menox, it sort of benefited the opponents there instead. Now they're gonna try to see if they can make the boat escape. Let's see if this is actually gonna happen.
Oh, the TT-28 putting the shots out on team number 14, Genside, as they try and get away with the boat. A lot of damage coming out. Can Kaz clean this up? He only needs a couple more shots on each player.
He decided to reload with 13 bullets remaining instead of shooting. I mean, we don't know his ammo situation. This is kind of the only thing that the spectator view is sort of lagging. One thing is that we can see how many bullets they have in their magazine, but it's also kind of useful to know how many total bullets they have. Like, this is probably a reason that he stopped shooting, because he probably could have exploded the vehicle or the boat had he just kept on shooting. But if he only has, like, I don't know, 1 or 2 magazines to spare, the importance of ammo in the late game, I mean, rather have that than take on shots that you could potentially not get anything out of.
Yeah, absolutely. Crimson here on the road. They're going to have to jump into the water. You see Pivas jumping down. Does he survive? No! He dies from falling as the vehicle hits the rock on the way down. Not a soft landing, so he will go down. On top of that, Botsman did go down during this rotation, but will be rezzed. So team number 6, House of Nobles, putting some damage on. Botsman going down again to Kajudi now.
Yeah, these guys, I mean, the worst thing is even they're outside the zone is going to be pushing in, so they're pretty much playing for no ground at all. Kajudi can push back, but he's kind of isolated from his teammates. They're sitting up the hillside up there, and he needs to get away, but there's no way in hell. I don't even know what he's doing right now. I don't think he has any clue as to where he's getting shot from. No,
not at all. Kajudi here hiding behind the tree, now down under pressure. You see Pivas dying, hits the rock, the damage is taken and thrown into the water.
Feels bad, man. Taken out there. Pipes. Last game he got run over by Pony, and now ran himself over. That's the rough way to end the day.
More shots coming out. Sampula here actually looking for some angles on all these players up in the north. Now Sampula on team number 10, great people only, are in an interesting position here. Kajudi's down. Squeaky went down there to kind of lend some defense, but they do have FaZe down to the southwest kind of overhead. So while they're taking one fight, they need to worry about FaZe from behind. It looks like FaZe may be backing off a little bit, but you cannot expose yourself to the south.
Yeah, exactly. You need to always keep your back clear. There's no reason for teams to push up this far north right now, so they should be in the clear now. Liquid as well, they need to keep their backs clear. Braxco pushing up towards Ibiza. He's making a run for it as he officially becomes the king of the hill in the one of the next seconds. But when he doesn't, he didn't decide to go for the very top. But
you got to get to the peak, Ibiza.
You got to get to the peak. If not, then you're not the king of the hill. Oh, I guess he maybe did.
Oh.
Really? Oh, no.
He's teasing it a little bit and just trying to keep us on our toes is Ibiza. So the zone's almost closed. We're going to have to see where this one goes. Does it go south? Does it go north? Who is this zone going to punish? The rest of Liquid all coming up to Everest to join Ibiza. Kind of in a bit of a standoff here with Penta Sports, who are holding down the southwestern side of Everest itself. A lot of players being able to move around. You see Alliance, you see Method, you see Havu, you see Avangar, and you see Diamond Dogs all kind of holding down those center positions. It is a position of power, especially with the water and the bridges in the way. But if this zone goes south, and it does, those teams in the north are going to have to rotate south eventually.
So I'm surprised. I will be excited to see how many teams are going to commit to the city now. I'm not thinking a lot of teams will go with southern George Pole, but a lot of teams could potentially go into the apartment area of northern George Pole. Because, I mean, they'll be forced to at some point. There are only so many open areas up here that you can hide. They do have a lot of trees up in the northern part of the map, but it's going to be, for some teams, it's going to be, well, water or apps. And 9 out of 10 times you'll see teams preferring apps over water. Maybe they'll toss one guy in the water and then keep the rest safe, but we'll see what's going to happen.
Well, I mean, they're doing this early enough. Yeah, they're doing this early enough that they may not only get across here, but they may be able to get a really good position in crates to kind of defend. These teams, not so much. Vitality and Alliance both diving for water. Method trying to put shots out, but not enough. Liquid getting a ton of frags as they actually are killing players from Diamond Dogs.
Yeah, they're squaring off down inside of containers. Rostenmark going down as well, so far at 4 for 0. And only one guy remaining now. It's going to be Lux on the run here. Fortunately, in the maze of containers, plenty of places that he can hide, but only for so long. I've actually before seen endgames where 6 teams were sitting in containers without shooting at each other. We'll have to wait and see if that's going to happen again. Pony and Glory, are they going to cross the road? Actually, it looks like they are crossing the road. Will Havaki and the guys from Habu, though, get the shots onto them as they come flying up the hillside here. Looks like they're not even shooting in their direction, as they do already have Doodle and Neos up there.
That's like one of those things where they are crossing the bridge. They're like, wait, we're not getting shot. All right, we're going to make it. And then they're like, okay, now we can play from the south. So that is what they will do. The zone is very, very scary here, though, because if you are east of Crates, if you are north of Everest, it is an open field. It is a whole bunch of nothing, and it's very likely that we do have a lot of teams kind of forced out of where they go, and that's what they're going to end up with right by that intersection there. And that could be brutal. So we'll see where this next zone goes and how it favors that area, whether or not that happens. Tindergold here in North George. They're moving down towards the water. Going to try and get some building positions here to kind of hold down, gather the information on where these other teams are. You see a couple players there. Genside's in the water. Reaper of points and the rest of the they get across. Karan trying to go past Tindergold. Will he make it? No, he will not.
No.
He will be taken down.
And now we got Squeaky making the exact same run. They're just all going to be taken down one by one. Actually, good return fire coming in from onto Martin. Will also get the one more down. There you go. Martin gets taken down, but down to very low HP. It's some pool, and he's going to be finished off. So, Great People only finishing off in 16th. We still have 48 people alive coming into Zone 4. This is pretty damn insane.
Yeah, and that's a tough break there for Great People Only. Their second 16th place of the night. FaZe Clan finally moving in. Waited until the blue was at their backs and now rotated into the zone. Lockwood of Crimson going down right by the water here. You see Andy Pyro, Method Andy right next to Jambawe behind the rocket. He's going to pop out and take the shots, but he does not get Andy.
He just claimed land from Andy. Andy was forced to jump into the water. That's surprising. I mean, in what situation would you give up the ground position? I mean, I guess Lockwood and MBS are both on land. And yeah, this just forced Andy to give up his position. Who knows? I haven't seen him get a kill with the AWM yet. Maybe he won.
It's very interesting. He was trying to get a first aid off. And while he was doing that, Jambawe was like, oh, this is my time. Pushed around the rock using the cover to try and make that play. And almost did. Almost got Andy. Very quick jump into the water. Okay. Wow. This is not what I thought was going to happen at all.
Urban and water. This is wow. The players will hate us. The viewers will like us. I mean, this is going to be what hell deserves.
Yeah, this is a player's worst nightmare right now. You move into Crates, there's going to be half the lobby inside Crates, and the other half's going to be swimming. So it'll be very interesting to see how this one plays out here. Liquid trying to get a dominating spot here. They're moving all the way to the northeast Crates. Going to try and hold that one down kind of as their compound, their block. Luxno here. And this is what you have to worry about in Crates. Players like this. Luxno's just sitting here. No one's going to think or have any idea he's in there. Reaper points going down to Ibiza. Jeems finishing him off. So that's one loss there. And Tixu going down. Quick Math under crazy pressure right now from Liquid.
You see the triple peak coming in from Liquid there. Ibiza in the back, standing up. Jeems in the front, proning. Or just crouching and Sammy on the edge there. Such a smart peek by them, and they got the knock. Unfortunately for them, Tixu got back up, but it's just going to be a matter of time before this push comes in. But as you said before, so many angles and different areas to hold when you're running around in Crates, and could very well end up in favor of the guys here.
Yeah, so Liquid kind of started to tease that. They started to move across, and shots came out from the north, so they had to back up and go back inside their Crates. Kind of unfortunate for them. They're trying to push onto that warehouse and hold that down as it's a little bit of an easier hold there. Nookie here using the rocks to his advantage. Just to the south there, you see team number 8. That's Penta Sports. They're in Crates as well. And all these players swimming in the water will have to get in a crate drop just to make it all worse, and it is an M24.
Yeah, not exactly the most useful crate when you get to this stage of the game. I mean, you want to have those up-close AR guns. And look at FaZe claiming the hill. They went all the way around, over the bridge, through Georgia Bowl, and now they have the higher ground up here. Only issue for them, if they don't have their vehicles with them, if they need to push down from here, I don't see how they could how they would plan doing so, especially if they get spotted. They do have one bike, it looks like. Actually, two bikes up here, so they should be able to get away from here no matter where the zone forces them to go. And if they want to, they could even take the bridge back over to George Bull, because they cleared that entire side. Will cause some damage, but with full boost, they should be able to go there if they wanted to.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see their decision-making here as they are now holding down the southwest portion of the zone, and pushing into crates is not going to be easy for them. You see Method, you see Alliance with players in the water, Vitality, Crimson, all in the water right now. Up in the north, though, it's Avangar holding down that compound. They're not pushing south. They're not making any effort to move south into the zone. They're going to let this one clear out as much as possible before the four-man strong group decides to rotate.
And I mean, I think Avangar, if we look into statistics, have probably moved a total of 400 meters this game, because they looted northern George Bull, and they immediately, when they saw the zone shift their direction, went over to this compound because they wanted to gatekeep the bridge and everything. But now with so many teams all over the place, they're just thinking, you know what? There's no reason for us to play anything aggressive. Might as well just chill here, and if people do try to breach us because they have such a good compound, we'll let them come and we'll kill them in doing so. But no reason for us to go out and do anything overly aggressive and lose people trying to do that.
And that's a great mentality to have here. The zone is now closing in, so we're about to figure out where we are going as Tindergill taking some shots at the players in the water. They've actually spotted out FaZe as well, have hopped on the bikes. Looks like they're getting ready for their rotate here. Zone is about to pop. I really pray this one goes southeast, but we will have to see. And it actually goes northeast. Avangar feeling really good right now with that shift.
What will FaZe do here? I'm excited to see how they're planning on rotating. Will they just jump into the water? Actually, it looks like they might. Everybody knows that they're up there on the hillside, and yep, they're going to be forced to jump into the water and either swim across and try and get to the beach on the other side, or I don't even know what they should do at this point, because people are going to be... This is just going to be D-Day all over again.
Yeah, this is...
For any team trying to make the breach over there, yeah.
Well, everybody from crates goes water here, like 100%.
Yeah, I mean, some of the, like, Liquid can stay, because there's no chance that it could shift back south. So Liquid could stay here, and the wall that you see north of Liquid is not actually a wall. It's just those kind of, sometimes you hit through, sometimes you don't, kind of fences. And
oh, they're gonna run for it.
They're wall smoking all the way down. They're actually committing to the water. You called it yourself. All of them wanting to go to the water. So everybody believing this is going to shift north. If this next zone shifts south, Liquid is... Yeah, they will be pulling their...
James and Ibiza.
And this is what the guys from Avangar have been waiting for so long.
And this is, I mean, Avangar should reap the benefits of this one. They still have no kills, Avangar, but they're taking a bunch of shots, putting out a ton of damage, and they're in a great position in the zone, especially if this one pulls away from the city. And it's kind of one of those things, Toby, that over time, the way circles work is they would always pull away from cities. They would always pull away from water at the end, at that last second. But here, it looks like it's just not following that rule at all. It was crates and some in North George, and now it goes north somehow. We still have water in play. We still have apartments in play. So many players. Look at all these players. They need to start swimming. The zone is at their backs. They're going to take a lot of damage. And here's Chronic, and he's going to fish with some dynamite.
Yeah, what?
It went too low. They made it deeper.
I guess it went underneath him. Yeah, exactly. It must have been. That was a pretty well-timed nade, and there you go. Second time's the charm. And, Chronix gets the knock. Braxco taken down. We'll be able to get the rest going, though. The zone is pushing in, and I for some reason, I don't know why, but for some reason I just want to see this zone go south. Just because all these teams committed to leave, and Dudu and the guys, they committed to stay. The guys from Team Symphony. Tixu's still here. Lux has been sitting inside, or at least by the same container for I don't know how long. But the entirety of Symphony is still very much alive down here. He has been sitting down here for at least 2 or 3 zones. They all need to move further, though. They're not inside the zone yet.
Yeah, and they all need to move a little bit to the north here. And get here we go. The shot's coming out from Lux. Though he downs one. Does not get the kill confirmed, though. He's going to peek around the left side here. He might be able to get a second easily. No, he does not. Use this opportunity to run away into the blue, and he's going to try and rotate into the zone here. He's taking some heavy damage, but if he gets in this warehouse, which he does, Tixu's still here, and that's a huge problem. And there goes Lux, no. Taken down. Tiku now is going to try and rotate himself into the zone. Cannot be seen by Team 16, Team Symphony there.
Look at the damage coming in. He's safe for the time being. But yeah, it's just going to be a matter of time. This is not going to be easy. Zone did shift north, so And this is kind of the thing, right? We were talking about those compounds, because the one that Unactive and the guys at Avenger are sitting at currently is kind of the same as the one you were talking about before. So hard to get away from there if you get trapped in there. Momino on the run, trying to see if he can get to the one-story building. Will actually somehow be able to get over here without taking any damage whatsoever. Not sure exactly how that managed to happen, but now Unactive and the guys need to do the same thing, and I don't see Avangar doing this twice in a row.
Yeah, this is just, I mean, they need to get across. It's amazing that Mumino was able to get here now. They're going to try and use the vehicle here, and they're all going to move west. And if they can get to this building and secure a location against Tindergold, who's spread out, they may be able to push. Keen does go down, but the other two do get there, and he may be able to crawl in. It looks like he'll at least get cover, but no, Dye's going down to Kaz.
Where did Kaz shoot him from?
I have no idea. Oh, from over there, through the window.
Oh, Momino, the door was open. The door was open and Kaz shot him through the door. Momino forgot to close the door as they had this, the friends coming through there. But they will be able to get the rest up. And I believe, yep, all 4 guys will stay alive. That should not have been allowed. That should not have been allowed. You see the positioning of the guys from Tentacle. They should have locked them down completely as they tried to escape there. But not happening and favoring Avangar in the end. Neelis and the guys from Symphony, they got quite a terrible position. I mean, they can stay inside the zone, unfortunately for them. The bridge does go kind of downhill, so they could just stay on the side. Just Sammy just down here, actually pushing up now. But he cannot be seen by, like, from the apartment buildings over on the other side, so they can play around here for a little while longer. Hopefully for them, forcing, like, if the zone shifts southeast now and forces all the guys from Tentacle out from the apartment buildings, people could still come up with the water and win the game, but it's going to be hard.
Yeah, you know what's so amazing is because the water's down in a dip, all these players are kind of hopping out and taking shots and teasing one another, trying to get those kills the best they can. You see Habu was kind of running up the side of it, Liquid was doing the same, and the fights are happening on the side of the water. Jeffy getting taken out by Martin, and Lockwood getting killed off by Samty as he hops out. Look at Habu, they're all out of the water, trying to take the fight on the shore.
And this is what you got to do. I mean, this is what determines the better team in these situations. One thing is being able to get out of the water, but being able to get out of the water at the right time is so important. 3 guys alive still for phase. Fuzzface down to very low HP. Chronix is up. Cup of Magic and the guys winners of game number 1, the guys from Penta, still very much alive. Nugi has been finished off, as you see over there in the corner. Beaver also just swimming around out in the middle of things. And the guys need to move. It's gonna go north and it's gonna favor once again the guys in the buildings.
Shots coming out. Chronix going down, and that will be the end. Penta Sports as they are killed off. And then more Liquid still alive. But Samty was lost there from I don't really mind of Havu. Mexi here just kind of waiting for Fever to try and make landfall so he can take the shots. A new zone popped. You can see it's above the water. So there's no more water in play. But Avangar has to move, and Tindergold, they have 2 players kind of in buildings where they'll still be safe.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if these guys can get safely out of the water down here, because I think the hills are too steep. Taylor, ooh, nice nade coming in. Unfortunately, not enough damage to take him out. Minox, little sneaky position now. I think he's standing on the sink in the bathroom. Yep. Or yeah, on the toilet actually. There you go, sneaky position. People very rarely look through those small windows, and there can be some really good kind of off-angle positions that you can get there. Havu committed to the other side, really smart. They'll be able to sit around and wait. Mexi taken down, Fever down to really low HP as well. It's going to be hard. Fuzzface, the only guy remaining now from faces. They try to come out of the water. In the meantime, Mumano, the guys push over towards Tindergold. They take all of them down.
Yeah, they got Menox here. See, Tindergold still has 2 up on the west. But now Avangar has claimed this building in the zone. And look at Havu. They have laid claim to the water. If I'm not mistaken, 2 players left. Yeah, it's Fuzzface and Nookie who just drowned. So it's all 4 of Havu somehow making it out of the water. And Fuzzface goes down as well. We have a four players right now for Havu. We have 4 players, if I'm not mistaken, for Avangar. 2 for Tindergold now, and 1 for House of Nobles, who is Sunbird.
Yeah, Sunbird's been chilling in there for quite a long time now. Not really been forced to do anything. Now he's going to be forced to make a move, though. Only thing is, I'm not sure Martin is expecting people to come from behind him, but Cass is going to be the first guy to run into him. Will he have heard him run around up in the apps, or will he not? It's going to be interesting to see whether he's going to be expecting a guy coming this close to him.
Yeah, Sunbird jumping over the wall here, kind of creeping up. He lays prone. He's going to sneak into zone here, as long as he's not spotted from Martin, who's was kind of throwing grenades over Havu's way. They know there are still players out of the water there who did survive. It's amazing that all 4 of Havu were able to make it through. That's a nice looking nade. It's going to bounce over. Is it going to catch Enzolenzo? No. Just past it.
Keen gets knocked. He's been knocked quite a few times, but fortunately he will be able to get rest back up. And the zone is going to go, well, pretty much water. Martins has probably the best position right now. His sole focus is, I was just going to say, on somewhere else. But nope, I guess he knew that something was there. He has a really good position. Only bad thing for him is that, as you can see here, the broken wall a bit too high for him to stand and shoot behind. But he's going to be, I think, at some points of this broken wall just inside the zone. So it's going to be pretty much the only hard cover inside the next zone. Everything else is just going to be open field and a road.
Yeah, so this is going to be a tough push for everyone. I mean, it's one of those situations you're going to have to move and fight. Do Havu and Avangar jump out and start taking shots at each other early? That's the question, because that's what's going to benefit Tindergold here the most. The team who moves first, the players that move first are very often the ones taking the most damage under the most pressure because everyone has time to shoot them. So we'll see who bites first, who tries to move into the zone, who tries to stay alive. The smokes are coming out from everyone right now.
I mean, technically, the guys from Avangard will be forced to move first just because of their position according to the zone. But I would assume they would be moving out on the backside of the building, trying to see if they can do something. Will Kaz and Martin be able to take them down in doing so? We'll find out. Yorski actually on a super smart play right now. He's going to be proning up. Fortunately for him, the zone's closing so slow, so he can kind of crawl accordingly. But now they're leaving the building, and will he be able to get the kills?
It's Keen going down first. The rest of Avangar running up. They're prone. Havu doing the same. We have 7 players prone in this field on the eastern side of the road right now, all trying to get into the zone. And on the other side, there are 2 players from Tindergold. Now standing up is Kaz. Jorski going down very quickly, but Inuctive is traded out right away. They're pushing up. Everybody moving around. I don't really mind. He goes down. Havaki is still alive. Now he's down, and so is Kaz. Enzolenzo's still alive. Dies in Mumino. It's a 2v1.
It's outside the zone. He just got knocked there by the play zone. These is down to 1 HP. Martin's still alive. Wait, I mean, I think it's a 1v1v1. Yeah, it is. Martin had the upper hand position. He didn't have to do anything, just hiding over there. As his teammates pushed forward. Mumino taken down, so Deez got his first aid off, and it's going to be 1v1v1. Nobody's going to do anything. Havaki's just going to crawl around. He's actually doing the smart thing here. He knows there's no way in hell he's going to get rest. Tries to get the info. Now Martin shot at him, so Insolenza knows there's a guy across the road. And obviously he will be aware that Deez is somewhere close to him as well. But none of these guys are going to do anything aggressive here. They're all just going to stall. And I think, as we saw in game number 2, we will see this coming down to the last dot. Unless if we'll see some of these guys play it aggressive. See Deez?
Is this another final circle for us today, Toby?
I think it very well could be. I mean, there's unless if Deez spots Martin, you see there's small holes in the fence. If Deez spots Martin through that hole, starts shooting at him, that could be the cue for Enzolenzo to stand up and shoot towards him. Like, sort of just third party this fight. But as you can see, Martin, he's just waiting for people to run across to him, and he's not going to do anything. He has the cover in the fence, and no way in hell people are going to run across the road at this point, right? So, unless if we get a kill early on, I'm highly doubting anything's going to happen. They have 12 kills already, the guys from Syndical. Super good performance by them. Martin getting knocked there early on, but getting rest by his teammates. And 8 kills as well for Havu. 5 of them being done by Insolenza.
Hey, you got to be feeling pretty good. I'm amazed at Havu, honestly, for getting out of the water. 4-man strong in that situation. I'm also amazed at how this final circle turned out. All those players trying to just go prone in this situation. Martin, he does have that bit of metal in front of him that he can kind of hide behind. Oh, do you spot him out right here, guys?
Yeah, you can kind of see him through there if he's careful. I don't know if you can shoot through there. You should be able to, but looks
he's
like
getting really
Martin
close.
Did not spot him. Yeah, there you go. Spots him through. He actually did he? Oh wait, did he crouch? No, he stayed prone. He spotted him through there. No, he is up. He is up and standing now. And now he spots Insolenzo on the other side of the fence there as well. 1v1. He has nothing but a light pole, and there you go, Insolenzo taking the edge off onto Martin, and that's going to be a win for Havu.
That is a huge win for Havu there. I mean, Enzolenzo 6 kills and coming out of the water. On top of that, look at Tindergold in second place there. That's a huge game. Martin 7 kills, Kaz 5, 12 just between the 2 of them. Taylor grabbing 1 to make it a cool 13. Avangar finishing up in 3rd. What a wild final zone there, Toby.
Oh yeah, that was considering the amount of water we had coming into the later stages of the game, the fact that it was so open and so flat in the end just sort of made up for it. I like that because we were talking about that earlier. Oh my god, it's urban end game, and oh my god, it's water. At least now we got to see like the little area of the map that actually had some open space there. So finish things off.
Yeah. Toby, thank you for joining me here today in casting. I do appreciate it very much.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, hopefully we can do it again sometime. We're going to kick it back over to just me and my lonesome on the desk here to close out the night. Game number 4 is finally over. And let me tell you, it was a brutal, brutal zone that is just completely infuriating for some and feels pretty good if you're Havu Gaming. Especially jumping into the water, 4-man strong, able to survive, standing out, fighting on the ridge against Liquid and all the other teams that had to swim, that were forced to swim based on this zone, and coming out 4-man strong, able to push down Prone, take out Avangar with the help of 2 players from Tindergold, and then Enzelenzo standing up and getting the final kill to secure their victory. Today's event for EU Showdown it's complete now. We have our 4 games. They're done, but fret not, because we still have NA coming later tonight. It is 5 p.m. Central right now, and in 2 hours' time, our top 16 teams from NA, based on our Split 1 results, will be competing in their 4 games, so be sure to tune in. Today's winners of your 4 games were Penta Sports grabbing game number 1, Crimson Esports game number 2, FaZe Clan grabbing game number 3, and our final game, which just ended, was, of course, Havu Gaming grabbing a win. So congratulations to all 4 of those squads on grabbing a win. On top of that, tons of kills were had by a lot of them. You'll see below me, Avangar currently in first place overall, and they racked up a few more in that last game. So I would assume they're securing that top spot. If you want updated leaderboards, they will be updated in just a few minutes. Head over to play.mainline.gg to see where all the teams stand after today's event. And on top of that, a big thank you to, of course, the name is Toby, for joining me here today on the cast. Mustache Dave for his guest appearances, which I love so dearly. He's a hilarious guy, and I'm glad to have him around. On top of that, all the mods, all the viewers, and of course all the players. Without you, PUBG Online is not a thing that we would get to do. And Sifl and Sap for clicking buttons and making production a real thing. On that note, thank you all for watching, and we'll be back right here on twitch.tv/PUBGOnline at 7 p.m. Central Time.
just a phase, no. Breathe in, breathe out, and have some faith. You can do it again, will you? Give me the runaround I'm least expecting. Oh, no, no, breathe in my head, holding me. Holding me. Giving up, letting go. Times we might feel compelled. Looking down from the heights that we have built all by ourselves. And there is fear of the unknown, but we cannot lose control. When we feel like the world is against us, we're trying to find ourselves without the defining words. We can no longer hold on to what only makes us hurt. We cannot sink into the dark. The vertigo is getting sharp. There's something greater than ourselves that we must reach for. Into the infinite that we must reach. 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 Now which way do we go is the question to ask. There are so many choices that it's hard not to look past. What is real and what is fake, and the risk we have to take. Will we know what is throwing off our balance? We're trying to find ourselves without the defining words. We can no longer hold on to what only makes us hurt. We cannot sink into the dark. The vertigo is getting sharp.